Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Lindholm again scores! Elias Lindholm has tied Game 5.
This is when you can take the ball off the dribble against Brad. Towns doing just that, trying to find Clarkson. Pittsburgh was there defensively. Towns inside and one. He wants the ball right now, and he's getting to his spots. Tatum goes right at him. Throws it back out. Stolen by Maxey. Light turnover for Boston. George on the drive. Kicks it out. Edgecombe lines up that three-pointer. Puts it in.
Bryce sends one pretty deep to right field. Back goes Beavers. He'll look up. That ball's gone. Bryce Matthews connects on his second home run of the season. And the Astros get one back. Cut the lead in half. It's now a 2-1 game as Bryce hits one out to right center here in Baltimore.
He's going to send a shot out towards center field. Breaking back, and now coming in is Carl, the right fielder Kendrick, and the ball drops. Through the raindrops, here comes Carey around third. The ball bobbled on the infield. Nebraska leads it 3-0.
So here's Jeter Worthley, who's had a 4-hit night. First pitch, and this one is hit hard into center field, and falling down is Carl. Moyer will score easily. Worthley rounding second, on his way to third. We're tied.
Hard on the ground and into left field. Stokes around first, Overbeek around third. Nebraska walks it off against the Kansas State Wildcats. Rhett Stokes, the hero.
Good morning. Welcome in. Hurrdat Sports Live. Presented by Next Gen Male Medical. That's DB. He's in a mood this morning.
No, I feel like that was scripted. It sounds the same every morning. It can't always be good morning.
Well, what you want me to go like?
I don't.
Let me go lo-fi.
I don't. So
hold on, Shane. Let's try this again. Hold on. We'll stop. Try it again. All right.
You want him to play the music?
No, it's fine.
again?
I'll do it. I'll do it without. Good morning. Welcome into Hurrdat Sports Live. Presented by Next Gen Male Medical.
Well, you need to go see them guys if that's how we're rolling.
That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We're here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. I could do like NPR style if you want me to, or like like ASMR style, whatever other acronyms we can come up with.
What does that stand for?
It's autosomic something. It's
what do you got for me, Rico, this morning? He kind of came in talking trash to you.
He did, yeah. I'm just trying to figure out what 9 months from yesterday is. I
got nothing.
I just figured with Jalen Brunson dropping 39 and then finally taking a 3-2 lead in the playoffs in the first round.
Here we go.
Yeah, that's how you feel.
Clary baby coming on.
That's
the way.
how you feel. Yeah,
here we go.
It's the first round. It doesn't.
Yes, that's how I feel.
It's the first round. None of that's happening.
Okay.
Wow.
If you made the finals though, like there's baby number 4 is on the way.
I feel.
No.
Listen, okay. All right.
There will be a celebration, but there's no baby on the way.
I feel like. By the way, that group text message yesterday.
Yeah, I sent that. I sent you that video.
I know.
Yeah, that
asshole.
Wow.
That's why I had you send it to me.
Okay. Apparently, I have a Rico. Just keep it a buck with me. Did this start because he asked where Jimmy Neutron was?
You asked.
You asked. And all I said was he's over there, and you weren't looking. And then I was just like, you know what? Doesn't matter. You don't need to know where he's at. It's fine.
But then you two picked up the conversation. Were you
he's a jerk?
I told you we missed him the other morning. See, it's okay.
Everybody knows it. They just put up with it. I don't know why.
Wow, he told no lies. He's rolling.
Listen, I don't know why either, but they do. So it is what it is.
It's ridiculous.
I'm going to be honest. Not only do people put up with it, I think some people like me for it.
Hey, by the way, speaking of well-liked, where's our fearless leader? I can you text her that I borrowed her button?
Yeah.
I don't want her to feel like I just relieved her of it.
I
suppose I could, but I'm talking.
I'm gonna send a picture just so she understands the context of what we're talking about here.
But it's not like I needed a code button.
Well,
I don't know. It's just like if somebody just texted me, "Hey, I borrowed your button," I'd be like, "What the f are you talking about?" I have
that's how you talk. Normal people would just
no. Sasha talks like that too. You not remember her busting in here yesterday and being like, "Stop being an a-hole."
Yeah, that was aggressive. I was glad it was you though.
She hates the Boosies thing, but like I can't help that she doesn't know how to pronounce it.
We're going back.
Like I don't. That's not.
I'm gonna fight you.
To Gary.
It's not my fault. It's not my
It's not your who?
It's not my fault or my fart that everybody else does.
That's one of those words that shouldn't be that bad, but it kind of bugs me.
Yeah, I didn't mean to say it, but
you know what I mean?
It is. No, I get it.
I mean, not that you got to go all like.
No, it's like how some people. What do you call it with Zoe?
Toot.
I would say you seem like a toot guy.
Oh.
We also say toot, but the kids say fart anyways.
Yeah, I can see how you're rearing them.
They'll just walk around. No, KJ will just walk up to you and goes, out of nowhere, sup, fart head. I don't know.
I think your kids might be naughty.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting that vibe.
They take after their mom.
Oh, I don't think there's any kind of to it.
Your wife does have a little edge to her.
Does she?
A little?
Oh, good for her. She's not here for it, huh?
Somebody's got
she'll go band for band with Ravi.
It's true.
But you are naughty though. Like somebody's got to tell you what the heck. Dude, you're out of control. You're just
I'm just me, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Out of control.
I'm just out here living life.
Hey, how do you like your new flavor?
This one is cherry cola. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Sparkling ice is legit. I haven't had the caffeine ones, but their flavor for their regular.
I haven't had one yet that I didn't like. There are some flavors I like better than others, obviously, but I haven't had one yet that was like undrinkable, which is hard to do. Is
that a word?
Undrinkable? I don't know. You knew what I meant, right?
Well,
it's context clues. I think I said conversate the other day. That's not a word.
No, conversate is a word.
No, it's not.
I'm almost 98% sure conversate is a word.
I don't know if we want to get into it this early, but I think it's a cultural thing.
Like your culture?
No.
Whose culture?
I think your culture.
Oh no, we didn't.
That's one.
It is. Conversate is a real word,
but it's considered non-standard and informed by most dictionaries.
My bad.
So are you saying?
I'm not even going to read into it. So what are you really saying, Todd?
Who's Todd?
It's a line from a.
Oh, most people who I've.
So what are you saying? Todd?
Most people
Todd,
who
do you know who Todd is?
I don't.
Todd is the government name of Too Short.
Oh, 2 Chainz?
No.
Oh, okay.
What'd I just tell you about old school music?
Fetty Wap? You're a big Jelly Roll guy, though.
That thing wet.
He likes Jelly Rolls and apple fritters. No, I most people who I've heard use the word conversate are black. So I thought it was like a cultural thing.
First of all, you don't even barely know anybody that's black.
That's not true.
Second of all, your frame of reference has to be so minute and minuscule. It's not even funny.
That's why I said I thought it was. I'm not saying like this is absolutely a cultural
How
thing.
many of your bros, man, have you heard say conversate?
I mean, of the people that I've heard say conversate, I think most of them are black. Yeah.
Okay. All 4 of them, huh?
Listen, I see Cliff every week.
Does Cliff say conversate? I don't think Cliff would appreciate you throwing him under the bus.
That I see him every week or that he's my friend. That's not throwing him under the bus. Jermaine claims me.
Boy, you are wild.
That's my guy.
I don't even. I ask myself every day. I think that's why I marinated my car.
Like, am I going to do this again?
Am I going through this again?
For what it's worth, autonomous sensory meridian response. That's ASMR.
Boy, you are on delay.
We got onto some other stuff. I just wanted to make sure you.
By the way, since we're bringing things back, by the way, one of these chain restaurants that specializes in some version of Tex-Mex has brought back a famous chicken that people were crying about.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can get that. It has taken the place of their El Pastor. if you frequent that kind of place. By
Sure.
the way, I would just like to lobby for a kava. Can we bring kava to Omaha?
Oh, the restaurant. I've never been to one.
Yeah. Okay. So anywho,
What are they?
Kava?
Yeah.
Kava is like the Mediterranean version of the place I was just talking about.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
It's my life.
Kind of like fast casual.
Yes, Mediterranean.
Gotcha.
Big Mediterranean guy.
Yeah, that's. Oh, I was spelling it wrong. That makes sense. It's with a C.
Yes.
I was going with a K.
As in conflicted on why I'm here. C.
Oh, so that's not spelled with a K either.
It's too early for this. Where's Kobe? Is Kobe in? I'm not logged in.
Sasha asked if this thing still had a battery in it.
No, I don't want the noise. And stop fingering it. Like, just put it down. It's not a toy. I mean, it squirted like first thing in the morning.
You gonna be okay? I don't have control over the buttons. That's not mine. I'll leave the button alone. She asked if it had a battery in it. I can't tell because it's got one of those little screw-on battery deals, so I can't just pop it off and see what happens. You know?
He's still laughing. I'm gonna punch him right in the face.
This is why his kids are naughty, because he's naughty. You know what I mean? This is. I'll be honest. This is part of the reason I don't have kids. Is I just don't trust myself.
I could say 15 things. And of the 14, you're going to say, this is part of the reason I don't want kids. Like,
you're not wrong. There's a lot of reasons.
I could say, oh my God, my grass is so thick and plush. You know what? That's part of the reason I don't want kids. Hey, at some point, they're probably just going to trample the grass. Like, that's your vibe.
You're not wrong. There's a lot of reasons.
Dealing with some kids. You good? I mean, I don't have much room to talk after Kobe's walk-off yesterday. I just thought that was exceptionally timely and funny.
It was out of nowhere. It was definitely like the unexpectedness of the Kobe comment.
It's fine. It's
just kind of just woosah, you know. That's one of the things from Bad Boys 2 that you can repeat, Shane. Just woosah.
So I realized today that life is like a.
Gotta ease into it.
It's
not
even 7:15.
We came out throwing 99 mile an hour heaters.
It's 7:13, man.
Being alone on the toilet is.
So I had a buddy this morning. He goes, "What's it gonna take to get you guys to come back to terrestrial radio?" I'm like, "Yeah, no,
fat check. That's what."
Well, apparently that's all the rumor.
I mean,
that's all the rumor. I'm remaining patient. As I hear there's another run getting ready to be made. Our boss probably already knows. He just hasn't probably said much to us yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if
it's the word out on the street.
If you write a big enough check, I'll do the show in Morse code. I mean, I'll figure it out. Yeah. ... dash dot. I'll figure it out.
I don't feel like that'd be good. I don't feel like that'd be a good product.
I don't either. But if the check's big enough, I'll do it.
No, see, we're not going to be like that.
If you're talking, I'm not talking about changing the show, but I'm talking forms, right? I'll get it out to you however you want it if the check's big enough. Not going to change the content.
I feel like there's a Terrence Crawford line in there where he was asked what it would take to get him back in the ring.
Yeah.
And said host was throwing out big numbers, and he said, "See, that's a reflection of your character. Now you just let me know what you're worth." That was on the Pivot podcast.
I mean, if it had 9 figures in it, I'd be like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yes, I do. By the way, I shared my dilemma, right?
Which one?
Remember the question that I was asking out loud yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Double Down got worse. You like that?
Yeah, that wasn't great.
I couldn't believe it.
Especially
I'm mortified.
Especially when it's people you've worked with quite a bit. That one sucks.
Yeah, I'm mortified.
That one sucks.
It's okay. We took every injection I had last night. We went to sleep like a baby.
Did you actually sleep last night?
Yeah, for about
look at you
6 hours probably.
That's like double your normal.
Wait, 10 to 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
There you go. Look at you.
And I'm still crabby.
All right. Speaking of being crabby, why the
can't get into it. No. I just brought a couple of people.
Okay. All right.
Not nah. See, like
I'm just asking why you brought our friends up.
Did you hear what he that's all I could hear. That's all I could hear.
I'm just curious why
I just brought a couple of nostalgic friends with me.
I just didn't know if you like had heard a rumor about Kent or something. Like, I don't know.
No, just
a lot of people speculating on his future.
No, I just brought a couple of my friends.
Well, and we had a lot of Coach Ravel talked a lot about T.O. yesterday.
Yeah, she was sensational.
She was, yeah. I think it was well received. I think people really appreciated that. You want me to be positive, or you want me to tell you what I'm really thinking?
What are you really thinking?
So I thought the interview was really, really good. I was also very annoyed, not at Coach Ravel. She was fantastic, and I thought she did a wonderful job. I was very annoyed because what did I say when you were walking out the door? There are 3 people.
Oh, are we going here?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
There are 3 people currently employed by the university, all of which we've had on this program, that sound almost exactly alike. Coach Ravel's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Manning's another.
Mm-hmm.
The third is Coach Rhule. They sound almost exactly alike. Coach Hurd sounded a lot like that too from Omaha.
Correct.
Investing in people. It's about the relationships. It's about the process. I actually don't care what happens at the end of the season, except I want more time with this team.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very common language across these coaches, across the state universities. We talked to Coach Held.
Anybody bring any alcohol in this morning?
We talked to Coach Held at UNK. He sounded a lot like that. And when we hear Coach Ravel, unanimous. Oh my God, that was fantastic. Incredible. Great stuff. What a leader.
Dan Jackson,
another great example. We got Dan Jackson here. They're like, hey, can you have him on again next week? We're like, absolutely. We'll love talking to Dan Jackson. What a great leader. What a great interview. Well done, guys. And then we hear Coach Manning. Oh my gosh. Ravi, you're being too hard on them. They finished 3rd in the Nationals.
Yeah, you got crushed.
Right? It's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, hey, that's a terrific finish. But we heard him talk about all these things before the season, mid-season, after season. Mm-hmm. And he's terrific interview. He's doing a great job leading the program. No argument for me there. And then we have Coach Rhule on. Sounds almost the exact same as all these other people that we universally consider great leaders and great ambassadors for their sports and their universities. And largely, I want to make this very clear, largely people felt the same way about the Coach Rhule interview. Largely. But there is this sect of the fan base that, I don't know if they don't like the other sports. I mean, there's people that only like football, right? That's fine. I don't know if they don't care about the other sports, but they will hammer everything. Coach Rhule talking about the exact same stuff. And when it's Coach Ravel, Coach Manning, Coach Jackson, Coach Hurd, Coach, did I forget one? Whoever else, all the people we've talked to. It's great leader. Would love them to be the leader of the program. I hope they get, with some of the people at UNK or Omaha, it's like, oh man, I hope they get whatever opportunities they deserve come their way. With Coach Rhule, all we hear is used car salesman. How many times do we hear used car salesman after that interview? Mm. Now, again, vocal minority, I understand that. That vocal minority doesn't exist with those other coaches. We don't hear it. And it's not like they've all been sunshine and rainbows either, right? We talked about with Coach Ravel. There was a period of time there, not only with the Bill Moose part, but just on the field, right? About 17 to 22.
Like 18, yeah.
It was rough. They didn't make a regional.
Yeah.
For 6 years, 5-6 years, whatever the number is. After having already established the program, that's usually a bad sign. Like if you have established yourself as something, but I think before that, they hadn't missed more than 2 tournaments in a row in her tenure.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes on this stretch where she struggles a little bit. And normally that's all she wrote. That's all you get. Like once it starts to go downhill after a certain period of time,
keep that bolded, Shane.
There is usually not a returning back to form. And then she had the stuff with Bill Moose and getting through that, where a lot of people didn't think she'd still be here, right? And so it's not like it's all been sunshine and rainbows, and it's not like it's all been nothing but success for all these coaches.
Yeah. So this is what I think. And listen, that's my guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's a couple fundamental differences.
Okay.
I love the passion, and I could be wrong. Number one, I think the attention paid to football, the scrutiny is significantly higher.
Absolutely true.
So, like, let's just say that. Then the other thing is, the other aforementioned haven't had the missteps in terms of how they've communicated. So the things that Coach Rhule says that I think people like,
mm-hmm.
that the vocal minority claps back at, it's because the vocal minority are using the missteps in terms of what he said in the past. So of the 6 or 7 things and however many times he's addressed the podium that have kind of stuck in their craw,
mm-hmm.
that's what they pitted against. So you're not gonna change those people's minds. So
mm-hmm.
I'm like, it's kind of like I was saying yesterday, where some people listen just to get information. Some people listen for transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you're talking to people that are just listening for information and there's not that real growth mindset,
mm-hmm.
you're not going to be able to make that case. I think people pay so much attention to football, it's very, very easy to pick at it. Right. And I'll also say this. I think sometimes it's the same 4 or 5 people. Sometimes I think they're the same. Sometimes they're not. They come in and they say the same thing every day in the chat,
mm-hmm.
almost every day. There are times where sometimes that can tinge the show.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't.
Sure.
But because it's so, I always say, like, the empty can rattles the loudest. So the other thing is, that's 1 and 1A. The other thing is, my guy, is, listen, I'm telling you, I can't pinpoint the number, but let's say Coach Rhule wins 8 or 9 games next year.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be able to say what he wants.
Sure.
Right? So that's really the difference. Wrestling top 5. Well, I mean, what are you going to tell Coach Manning? That he even though he's super fiery, he's passionate, he took on some things that he probably shouldn't have taken on. He went through a little bit of a valley
mm-hmm.
where he had to revamp the program. He reinvested in the youth program. He changed how he was recruiting locally. He was getting his slings and arrows too, right? Same as Coach Ravel was. He actually had some former players that were championing the hiatus when
mm-hmm.
when Bill Moose was here. So I think ultimately, at the end of the day, he's got to win.
Sure.
Right. And I think he knows that. What you just have to hope, because there's so much good in there from him, you have to hope that he doesn't, and that staff doesn't fall into the damned if we do, damned if we don't, because then we won't get anything.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be understandable.
Yeah.
Right. But you don't want that, because there are good nuggets
for sure
that like you can get out of there. I think those are, I think that's the fundamental difference. I like that it bugs you.
It does bug me. It does bug me.
I think that's what it is. And maybe it's because, I have detractors that are really consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And they'll go back to the same 2 or 3 things.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of built like that.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not anything that bothers me. Hang on real quick. And TK, before I get too far away from the severe thing,
mm-hmm.
I did go back and listen. I know people want explanations. That's my friend.
Yeah.
Right. So he's a very good friend, and he's going to have
I don't think that's what he meant.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it is. But I'm not gonna fight him over that. Like, he doesn't have to think like me. Or anybody else.
So that's two things. I didn't want to forget about that, TK. I'm sorry. And he sent me a nice good morning message this morning.
Here's the issue that the reason that it bothers me is if we appreciate all those other things. I get that he's just got to win, right? I get that. We're at that point, year 4, year 5.
Yeah, and I hate that. So I hate, but it is.
But there is a certain point you have to see the results for what the process is, right? Like, I understand that.
Yeah.
Here's my problem is we're still relatively early on here. We're in year 3. I know the Signetti of it all makes us think like, why didn't it happen immediately? That's not a typical thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're trying to kind of go against the grain and how college football is working and trying to do it a different way, but that's neither here nor there. My problem is if you hear these highly successful coaches that we all like and admire all talking a certain way, to me, to hear a coach that's still early in his tenure at Nebraska talking that way and who has had progress, that would be nothing but encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'd be like, oh, this is how successful people talk. This is how successful people go about their business. And instead of hearing that and being like, okay, they went from 0 bowl games for a decade to back-to-back bowl games. They went from 0 consecutive winning seasons for 12 years to back-to-back winning seasons. I look at that and then I listen to the way he goes about his business and I would go, that's encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, other people process it differently. And that's the part that I find frustrating. And the part that upsets me is we don't apply the same logic to why we like these other people to football, because I don't know if we're just too emotional about it. I don't know. I don't know if people can be more casual about softball because they're not as emotionally invested. I don't know if people can be, everybody I know about wrestling is obsessed, right? There are no casuals in wrestling.
That's pretty true.
So like that, like, I don't know what the answer is there. Maybe there's just fewer of them, so I don't hear it as much. Maybe you can be casual about South Dakota State and be casual about UNK.
Coach. So who am I going to say?
Hoiberg. I do that all the time.
Coach Hoiberg.
Yeah,
will tell you the exact same thing.
Yeah,
there was a 2.5-year stretch where he just couldn't get away from it.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's the difference, and if it is, whatever. I still don't think that's a good reason. If the reason being,
and he hadn't had the audible missteps either.
No, because he doesn't say much. Hoiberg doesn't give you a ton.
So I think I do think the results clearly matter
100%.
But hot to your point, I get the whole coach speak thing, but not all coaches. It's not disingenuous. It's a little that's a little too linear.
Yeah,
for me, right? Because he's like, well, there is such thing as coach speak, and I agree.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's what this is. Especially like the way that the places we try to take these coaches is to peel back the layers so you don't just get coach speak.
Yes.
Right? Like that's why there's kind of and that's on us sometimes where we need to make sure that we're cognizant of that so we just don't go along to get along.
Mm-hmm.
But you also don't want to be adversarial, but you do want to ask probing questions to bring that out in people too.
Yeah.
Right? Kobe, he's not your friend?
Who?
Well, I suppose you don't know. I think he's talking about my man.
Oh.
I'll ask him. Look, I'll ask him. We'll see what he says.
Oh, we're talking about the
I didn't hear it until the second day,
mm-hmm.
but I will ask him
about the lucky thing. Is that what we're doing, or is that what Kobe's
if he wants to talk about it? I believe that's what Kobe wants to talk. I believe that's what TK wants to talk about.
We got a spot at 9 if he wants to talk.
Oh Lord,
I'm not. No, I'm saying if he would like to elaborate.
I have to call. It's not going to come across.
That's fine. If he would like to elaborate, I'm not trying to play gotcha.
Listen, it might be. I'll be curious.
If he would like to elaborate or like the chance to elaborate, he is more than welcome to come on at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Or 9:30. We don't have anything in the last hour.
Okay.
So I would be interested to talk to him because I heard that live and I was like, I'm sorry, what? I think I texted you immediately, like while it was happening.
Yes, you did.
And so I think there's I think there'd be an opportunity if he wants to talk about it. He doesn't have to if he doesn't want to. It's his deal.
See I mean, this is so
this is what exactly. What
but hang on though. Yeah. So here's the thing. You always have to remember this. Nothing can live without oxygen.
Yeah.
So you don't have to give it oxygen, and at some point it will die.
If you want me to start smothering people, I'm more than happy to.
No. And you think I'm crazy?
Is that not what you meant?
Hey, by the way, you would have been so proud of me.
I am so proud. Paul Rhodes.
So I can't really use. It's going backwards, right? My hand.
Oh, it's getting worse.
So do you know what I did yesterday for literally about 11, 12 minutes?
What's that?
I would throw coins on the floor
and try and pick them.
And try to pick it up.
Yeah.
How about that?
Wait, so what happened? Why did it get worse?
I don't know. I just hard-headed.
Oh, you're just doing too much with it?
Yeah, just hard-headed.
Yeah,
That's
I got
stupid. But I mean, would you not have liked to see me do the same thing over and over for double-digit minutes?
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Really? I was proud of myself.
No, I mean,
I was actually sweating.
No, I mean, like when you're doing like the fine motor movement, that stuff. It doesn't surprise me that you would.
I can't even use a Q-tip.
It doesn't surprise me that you would.
Which, by the way, does anybody have a better earwax remover? I know you're not supposed to use Q-tips. I use it to just usually dab the water. Does anybody have an ear thing that they'd like to recommend without gross?
No, but I really want to buy one of those like the water ones that like you just put in your ear. And
I'm not interested in making a mess. Are those fairly pick up after yourself?
From what I've seen, they're pretty clean. I don't know about the splashback from like when it's going into your ear, but I know it has the little container thing that it catches like the water and whatever comes out.
Like, have you
I see a guy on TikTok that he uses these ear things, and I'm like, oh,
the ones with the cameras.
No.
Oh, I've seen those, like the scoops with the camera.
Yeah, those are terrifying. But
I'm not interested in seeing. It's not like I'm super wax.
I bet you got a ton of gum in there.
No.
Rico, I think he might fight you.
It's thick. I did not play that. Can I play this for you, Damon?
But let me go ahead and tell you.
Shut your bitch ass up.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, it squirted like first thing in the morning. Okay.
That's not me.
Shane, quit playing those.
We're fine.
No, have you ever had
I love The Rock.
Have you ever had your ears cleaned out? Have they ever done the water thing at the doctor?
Yeah, but full disclosure, I don't know what it is. It's kind of like sweat. I'm not a waxy guy. Like you
don't get a lot of your wax?
Nope.
Okay. So, I mean, you could probably get away with like either one of those little.
I'm just fascinated.
They also have the ones. Have you seen the spiral ones?
No, but you know who I want to use it on?
Who?
Is Zoe.
Oh, she's got a lot of wax.
Well, she has one bad ear, one good ear.
Oh, okay.
One ear, it's nothing.
Yeah.
The other one, it's like, I'm thinking it's like Beauty and the Beast, and it's talking to me. I was like, did you used to be the butler? Or are you still just the candle?
He's the kid. She got Lumineer coming out of her ears.
Good pull.
Let's go.
First appropriate thing you've said this morning.
It's actually Lumiere.
Look, of course.
He's French.
I think, you know what? I need to Google this. The derivations in wait, so what do native Puerto Ricans speak? Spanish?
Yes.
Okay. I need to see if Rico is code for condescending.
It's not.
Are you sure?
I got Rico from my white friends because they couldn't pronounce Enrique.
That actually sounds right. That sounds.
Google me.
That sounds correct, actually. That's why everybody in college at Norfolk, Nebraska called me Bob.
Oh, I've seen that sometimes though in like the service industry.
Yeah.
Where I know that is not your name.
No, I mean it happens a lot. Usually it's somebody will say something.
Your name's not Tim.
No. There a lot of times in the service industry, somebody will either say something dumb or like make a mistake, and then that's just their name forever.
And I shouldn't say that because I knew a French Canadian who was actually from Guyana.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, Timashanga.
Oh, okay.
Biaka Batuka.
Yeah.
People just called him Tim.
Yeah. They're like, we're gonna chill on that. We don't need the whole thing.
I just called him Biak.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Biak!
My dad's real name isn't Andy.
Does he go by Andy?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
That's his white people name.
God, we're just on this thing. Yeah, we're probably never going back to terrestrial radio. Just gonna put that up there.
You better have that delay button ready.
And what do you get, Shane? 7 seconds. You don't want to go back to being nervous again all the time, though, do you?
I'm nervous all the time.
I was going to say, because he's the picture of calm and collection now.
I can't even get him to play a 7-second song because he thinks we're going to get banned.
You could get your music back if we were on terrestrial radio because we would have the license.
Don't tempt me.
Good morning again.
Rico's dropping bombs at 7:04.
I'd rather not go back to radio, please and thank you.
Sadie wouldn't either. That's my dude.
It's not like we would get rid of YouTube and podcast, guys. That's it'd be in addition to, because we've got some more mature members of our audience that sometimes struggle to find us the digital way.
Yeah. Jack, keep them straight, Shane. Jack, wait till I show up on your porch or your place at your place.
TK, yeah, we could. You just got to have the button. You just got to have the delay button.
But then you have to wait for it to load back up.
Kobe.
We certainly couldn't read Kobe's comment.
That turkey sandwich, man, slaps.
Carol, a guy?
Will forever be the funniest innocuous comment ever. It had no business being as funny as it was.
Yeah, it caught me off guard how funny you thought it was. Like, it was funny, but like the fact that it like sent you away from the table.
I couldn't get it together.
Yeah, that was the part that I was like, I don't know what's happening right now.
Because I have so there's three people. I have a clear, distinct thing in my head of what I think Kobe would be like.
Sure.
Because he was the first one I was kind of enamored with.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so hearing him say that, even though I've never heard him talk,
you heard it in the voice.
I could hear him saying that in how I think he is.
No, I got you.
It was unbelievably funny.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about, it was like fairly heavy. There's a lot going on that last 12 minutes.
Yeah, there was.
Oh, he's back and forth, they're volleying stuff, and it's like,
and they're just like, Carol, a guy?
I don't know, man.
Yes, he is.
See, this is not for you. I didn't go get this for you. No, see, I'm taking this back.
Go put it over there then.
No, I'm taking it back.
This is for me. Then I got the world's smallest Nerf gun. We're going to use this.
You could ruin a wet dream. Like, why can't you leave my stuff alone? What? I mean, it squirted like first thing in the morning. Jesus.
I think we should take a break. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. It's Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's time to shift into spring at Edwards Kia. Lease the 2026 Kia Seltos LX as low as $198 a month. Shift into spring for less. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Drive away with more this April. Or lease the 2026 Kia Sportage LX as low as $228 a month. Don't wait. Shift into a fresh deal this spring at Edwards Kia. It pays to make the drive to Edwards Kia.
It started back in November when the governor was out here for the turkey hunt, and we had some conversations. Very thankful to him and Chancellor Turman and President Cooper for helping line this up, as well as Lindsey Peterson from Nebraska. She's an absolute rock star. She lined all this whole thing up. Very thankful for everything that she's done for this, and again, can't be thankful enough for these student athletes to come out here.
It's time to shift into spring at Edwards Kia. Lease the 2026 Kia Seltos LX as low as $198 a month. Shift into spring for less. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Drive away with more this April. Or lease the 2026 Kia Sportage LX as low as $228 a month. Don't wait. Shift into a fresh deal this spring at Edwards Kia. It pays to make the drive to Edwards Kia.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. Little programming announcement. We will have one Michael Zavir at 9 o'clock to discuss not just his takes on Nebraska football and development with Matt Rhule, but also we'll get a little draft conversation with him as well. So we'll talk to Zavir at 9. Of course, we've got our Wednesday regular, Brian Christopherson, at 8 o'clock, and then Kevin Suits at 8:30. I wonder what's going to be in the snackle box this week.
I can't believe you shamed him into getting rid of the poppables.
No, I wasn't about the poppables. I was the fruits and veggies. I was like, I need more meat products in there. Get rid of like the
but
celery.
You said much better, and he like added cookies and stuff.
Well, I do like cookies. I mean, come on,
dude. If you're throwing 6 innings, you don't want chocolate chip cookies.
Speak for yourself.
Don't get me going on this.
Speak for yourself.
Who is that?
That Suits.
Oh,
you know this little gun works. I can shoot you right now.
Yeah, you know what it's like to have a. Does that work?
Yeah. Like you just stop mid sentence.
I'm not doing that again.
I don't think Robbie's little gun works.
I am not gonna let you.
Got him.
It's about how I would imagine it.
I'm not gonna. A lot of bread on Instagram.
just bringing me down.
That's why Robbie don't have no kids.
I get mad. I say things
I got that fixed. I got that fixed.
It's unbelievable.
If you want the name of my guy, Rico, I could tell you.
Wait, what? Wait. Kobayashi, what topic?
We lost him. Where? I don't see the comment.
I don't know. I run away from 0 topics.
No, I didn't see what he was saying.
I don't know.
I wish
Kobe, Chinese.
Where do I have to go? Did he say Kearney?
Kearney or Grand Island?
Whatever it is, it ain't. I don't remember it being far.
He's Central Nebraska, somewhere out there.
Maybe I just hit the dealership and kick tires so they get mad at me. Hey, you buying or what?
The severe topic. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Oh, he's out in North Platte area.
Oh, that ain't bad.
I mean, it's a little further than the other ones.
No, it's right by Gothenburg.
What is that? 4 hours
and a half?
Yeah, it's a little trip out there. I've only been out there. I haven't out there.
I told you what happened last time we were in North Platte.
Oh yeah,
yeah, we got our teeth kicked in.
That was not a pleasant trip for you.
And I saw him at the state wrestling tournament.
Really?
Yeah, he'd left South Dakota State, and he is back close to. He's at Kearney. Like I'm like hell. Like how fast is back? How fast? Until for like he's yoked.
Yeah.
He looks sensational, and I was like, "Wait a minute, are you still fast?" Because
if you're fast, and yoked.
No, he came walking down the stairs at the wrestling. I'm talking about Tilford from North Platte.
Yeah.
And he came walking down the stairs because we hit one of his coaches is a mutual friend of mine. And he's like, hey, he's actually here. I was like, no way. And he's like, yeah, he's supporting state wrestling. He's back at Kearney now. So he came coming down the stairs, and I was like, oh, protein's done a body right. I ain't milk. That's yes. I think Kearney's got a chance to be.
Maybe he's on that creatine diet.
Yeah.
Like there's a certain age where like I can be real useful for you. Like it, you know.
Yeah, you see Meathead.
Yeah. It's also the most studied supplement in the world.
Yeah.
Very safe and effective.
And I asked Nick about it. And he said, from Next Gen, by the way, stop on out. It's so modified and tinkered with now. You don't get the old residuals.
No.
That you would get.
It's a much cleaner process now
than when we were just taking Suffle cups
back in the day.
It's like, hey, how much do you weigh? This is how much is in your Suffle cup, and then there would be, you know what I mean when I say Suffle cup, the little
like the little like medicine cups.
Yeah, I don't even know if they make those anymore, but they were the paper ones, and it would just be by your deal, and you'd have to pour your little shake dispenser thing in it that we got from Dave Ellis, and you would just do it, and you just walked on by. It was like a factory.
Mikey likes it.
Little assembly line.
That's kind of what it was.
Well, you got to do what you got to do.
It's kind of what it was. Hey, Shane, by the way, can I talk about hockey with you, or are you out on this for a second?
No, go ahead.
So, Shane, you know I'm a big press conference guy. And you remember Pasternak was super pissed at how Boston played that first period?
Right.
Last game. And he's like, it's unacceptable. It starts with me, yada, yada, yada. How fitting was it that he had the G-dub last night? Do you believe that the Bruins can come back and knock off the Sabres?
For Steve's sake, I'll say yes.
Oh, Bruin Steve?
Yeah.
I rock with Bruin Steve, but he put some bad pictures out of your boy.
I'll say he doesn't do any favors.
He's my guy, though. I've rocked with
the screen grabs
for years. But like they were so.
I only throw Bruin highlights in there just for that guy. So.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
It's not for his grass. I almost sent a picture of my grass to him yesterday, but I was like, nah, I'm not going to get
to Steve.
Game. Yeah, I'm not going to get in that game because his yard, it's better than Sauter's.
Whoa.
But
whoa.
No, it is.
He's gonna come at you about that.
It is. So Sauter dropped the word. He was coming in as I was leaving yesterday. He dropped the word on what it is when there are parts of your grass that are not as thick. And he goes, yeah, I'm heading over to Grass Pad after this to get some moss and some seed because my grass is blank. And I was like, did you make that up? Or is that what you lawn guys use? And then he sent me a picture of what he bought. No. Steve mows the heck out of his yard.
I don't even know what to call it. I'm just like, hey, I don't like how that looks. Can we fix that? And they're like, yep, we got it.
I forgot. Yeah, you got the your church guys.
Yeah.
So they do the whole seeding and aerating and everything?
They do everything. I don't do anything.
Really? He doesn't just mow and trim?
Nope. He does. I mean, he'll like if my dogs aren't real big like at.
So what's like the lawn name? Is it like the Gospel Gangsters or like what are they?
His name is Brad. I don't know if there's like an entity name.
Although Gospel Gangsters is used.
Is that like a little like rap group or something?
I hate how you said that.
What do you mean?
Well, is that like some rap group or something? Well, I gave it away, Gangsters.
I mean, it sounds so. Listen,
I mean, am I reading into that, or is that pretty coded?
You're reading into that. I have a very what you're not acknowledging here is I have a very deep history with random like Christian music, and that sounded like a lot of the names of different bands or hip hop groups that came out when I was like growing up and listening.
Yeah,
to that.
they were definitely a Christian rap group.
There were a lot of names where I was like, oh, that's a little cheesy, or I don't know what we're doing here, or
Gospel Gangsters.
So I was like, yeah, that sounds like something that's like, hey, we're trying to be hardcore, but like we also love Jesus.
He said his name is Brad. My guy's name's Brad. One of my guys' name is Brad too.
Yeah, it's him and his son. They do a good job.
But this Brad is grassroots.
Yeah. I don't know if they have a company name or not. I'll be honest.
So it's just him and how old is his son?
I don't know if he's just out of high school or still in high school.
Oh, that's legit.
Yeah.
So they just old school spreader.
They just do whatever I need.
Really?
They'll go if I need something they don't have. They go rent it, and then they just
like big Honeywell guys.
I have no idea.
Do you?
I don't watch them. I'm just like,
oh, you don't? That's part of the fun.
No.
Okay.
I think the fun part to me is I just like look out after a couple hours or however long it takes, and I'm just like, hey, look, it looks better now. It's magic.
All right, guys. I forgot. Hey, Rico, before we get started, wait, what do we have? Oh, yeah, 8 minutes.
BC it.
In or out on the field? 76 teams.
I hate it. It's dumb.
Stupid.
Action Jackson, a.k.a. Jimmy Neutron. In or out on expanding the field?
I have no problem with it.
Weird, the contrarian. Okay, so AJ, did you like the premise of wanting more power conference teams?
No, that's the part I don't agree with, because most of the lower tier, I guess, major power conference programs are actually not better than a lot of the upper mid-major programs, at least year to year. And you can kind of tell that, especially in the past couple of tournaments. I mean, specifically, you can even go back to a couple years ago, and it was Indiana State who got left out. They were a much better program than a lot of the, especially teams in the middle tier of the SEC or ACC that got put in. But other than that, like, I understand they want the bigger brands, but truly, if you want better basketball, I think the mid-majors is where they probably would be better off leaning towards.
In or out on the field?
Out, all the way
Can you
out.
Put the little pea shooter down. You're getting.
You know what I'm trying to
Did
figure?
you find the thing that it?
No, it's right there. It's right at your feet there. Looks like when you like would lose. Oh, that's not it at all. Actually, that's just junk.
Oh,
I really thought it was. I have no idea where it went. No, I agree with Austin in the sense that you know how angry I get about these crap ass power conference teams making it into the tournament.
Yeah, we've heard a few meltdowns
with like 7-11 conference records, and they're like, they need an opportunity to
big
prove,
Auburn guy.
They need an opportunity to prove themselves. It's like, what were the last 18 games that I just watched? Was that not an opportunity to prove themselves? And they failed. They did not pass that test. If they were doing this to get more mid-majors opportunities, or say, hey, if you win your conference tournament as a mid-major but don't win your tournament championship, or if you win your regular season but not the tournament, and then you still have an opportunity to get in, I'd be all for it, because that's what makes the tournament great, and B, I understand they're not going to do less power conference teams in the current setup. So if that was the reason for expansion, I'd be all for it. We don't need we don't need the 14th place team from the SEC. No one needs that.
So I'm a little taken aback because there's conference shares, right, for bids.
Mm-hmm.
Why would so conferences are more willing to split? I'm just going to use $10 12 ways than $13 14 ways.
I think you get more money per win, right? So I think they're assuming if we get more teams in, we get an opportunity.
That's
for
a
more
heck
wins.
of a dice roll.
That's my assumption on what they're going for, is that they're giving themselves more opportunities for wins.
And mid majors are going to be in trouble.
Yeah. When they come out and say this is what they're trying to do, like this is bad.
They're in big trouble.
This is bad for college basketball. It's bad for the tournament. It's bad. It's just all bad.
Did you think you could follow if it's early, not early, but it's not like early enough where I have to kind of still study. But the format is wild.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because if I understand it correctly, which I don't think it's finalized, but it looks
my button.
You put it back over here. I didn't do it. It's not like I went over there and got it.
Leave it alone.
The format, the way they're talking about it, it really does not, because there's so many more teams that would be in those quote unquote play-in games, which would just be the abbreviated first round now, is you could be like a 13 seed and have the same opportunity to advance as like a 10 or 11, which that's a pretty big disparity, right?
Like especially quality teams for sure.
Yes,
for sure.
So you're kind of negating the advantage of having a better season as an 11 seed. And I'll be honest, man, like I don't like the fact that they're trying to turn all the 15s in the playing games either.
Can I, if you're an at-large, let's say you're, you're the SWAC winner.
Mm-hmm.
Should you be ahead of or behind playing teams?
I think this is probably a hot take.
I can't wait for this.
I think if you win your conference tournament, you should be ahead of whatever these extra 76 teams are. I think you should be.
I don't think that's a hot take.
I think you should be put ahead of them because all of these teams, all these extra at-larges are going to be mediocre at best. We've seen what the records are of the teams that don't make it in. These are the teams that would be in, right? The last 4 out, the next 4 out. That's basically the group we're talking about. And a lot of those teams are just not good.
Well, it's not going to be competitive.
That's what I mean. Like it's going to be like those games might be competitive because you're playing.
Do we care?
I care.
Daniel, I get it. I get it.
Let me guess. I haven't looked yet. I'm going to guess this is it's about the money, stupid.
Yeah.
I get that, but here's the problem. That's Daniel.
Look, I think we should put him up.
Here's the problem.
Hey, did you take a deep breath?
I did.
Sometimes I wish I would do that before I say things.
Because
do you want to know the other teams that would have made it this year?
Yeah, go ahead.
I saw the hypotheticals.
It's like Arizona State, Auburn.
Yeah, I saw
Oklahoma, Auburn,
San
Diego State.
You did a bit.
Indiana, New Mexico, Seton Hall, Virginia Tech, Stanford.
Does anybody really need Seton Hall in the dance this year?
Yeah, he walked through this at College Basketball Central.
This is I know it's not exactly what you said, Daniel. Yes, this is about money. Here's the problem, though.
I'm sending this to you, Suave. Or should I send it to everybody? You and AJ?
Just send it to me. I can get it.
We're going to take a break after this. But the problem with the fact that it's about the money, which it is, they've been clear. They were clear about two things that they normally don't say out loud. A, it's about the money, and B, we're going to let more power conference teams in. They said those things out loud within this process, which is not common for them to be that honest, especially about things that are pretty unpopular. But the problem with that is when you make everything about the money at the cost of the quality of the product, you're chasing short dimes instead of long dollars. That's the problem. It's also that's why every time, you hear people rail against.
I prefer fast nickels over long dimes.
I want dollars over dimes.
Because dimes to dollars is a pretty big gap.
I couldn't remember what the saying was. I was doing my best.
It's
fast nickels over
nickels
over long dimes.
Ask your boy.
All right,
I got you.
So, and this is why you hear me railing against, like, when people are talking about bringing private equity into college sports and things like that. This is why you hear me railing against it, because private equity's entire model
is to make money off of your demise because they're eventually going to recoup their money.
Yes, because they're going to structure it in a way where it doesn't matter if you go bankrupt, they're still going to make their money. And guess what? If you had just focused on the quality of the product, you would have made money in the long term anyway.
Amazing Dan is a big fast dimes guy. Him and Tracy Chapman.
I think it's fast cars.
Are you sure?
Almost positive.
What would you know about fast cars?
How did you just have this? That is... I can't... The timing on that's unbelievable. How did you just randomly have Indian fast cars? I'm like shell-shocked. Oh. I'm stunned.
Shane figured out the internet. I think we're all screwed.
He's become self-aware.
Sing? Shane, does anybody sing?
You got a fast car.
bought a ticket to anywhere. Maybe we can look at me.
Oh, I can't believe that. A, I can't believe that exists. And B, I can't believe he found that while we were talking about fast car.
Just a general question. What do you Google to find that?
I don't think we want to dive too far into Shane's search history, Austin. You find a lot of Instagram bread in there if you dig too deep.
Maybe you better somewhere, any place is better.
Don't try to flip this on Shane. You got you.
Oh, you'll make it. You'll be okay. Let's. I think BC's here. Let's take a quick break, and we will be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's time to shift into spring at Edwards Kia. Lease the 2026 Kia Seltos LX as low as $198 a month. Shift into spring for less. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Drive away with more this April. Or lease the 2026 Kia Sportage LX as low as $228 a month. Don't wait. Shift into a fresh deal this spring at Edwards Kia. It pays to make the drive to Edwards Kia.
I think Hannah Core said it best. She goes, I'm not from Nebraska, but I want to be. And the reason that she said that, she provided context. She goes, the way these Nebraska players love putting on that jersey and representing this state is something that the rest of us feel. And they make us feel a part of it. And I thought that was a really big moment when she said that. And to your point about the talent in this state, it's been around for a long time. I mean, I've worked camps and clinics in this state for 3.5 decades, and you know, especially in the pitching, we've put out so much good pitching over the last how many ever years, but also very good players otherwise as well. So it's fun, and it's always fun to have Nebraskans on your roster that help you achieve a high level of success.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live. Here is Husker 24/7 senior writer Brian Christopherson.
Yeah, you got guys and walking into Ace Hardware without their shirts on.
Brian Christopherson.
We got a pretty good sewing circle in this state.
Brian Christopherson.
To me, it's like crunch time, baby.
Here is Brian Christopherson.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Mail Medical. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. We are joined now by Brian Christopherson, Husker 24/7. BC, how we doing?
Doing great. How are you guys?
BC, I apologize. We're almost never late with you.
It's Shane's fault.
It pretty much is. You big Tracy Chapman guy?
Yeah.
Me too. Thank you. I am too. What's your favorite song?
Fast Car. I heard the end of before I came in. Since you guys were late, I was already hanging around. I'm just messing with you, but yeah, I heard that Shane, was it Shane who did that? Who had the Indian version of it right on?
That was Shane. Oh boy,
I like to think he has like 100 different versions of song in that category that he could just play at any moment.
BC, how we haven't actually gotten a chance to talk very much about it, but Nebraska, I guess we're just jumping right in. I don't know how to follow that up.
Oh, BC, I got good news.
Let's have it.
I have good news. Can I read this, or is this going to embarrass him?
I don't know. Go for it.
All right. Okay, BC. I'll just apologize later. No, am I betraying his trust?
Who?
Caleb. All right.
No, I think you're okay.
4.50 flat today coming off Matt Rhule's. Plus, I got flagged for soreness yesterday, so I could only run it once. Book it. I'll take it down to mid 4.4s coming into this summer. There you go. Right?
Yeah. Proud Papa.
So BC, be my friend. Ravi can't. You're smarter. Like, I need to take that in and be like, hey man, that a boy, right? Like, you just got a black jersey for Matt Rhule's. I see it, but I want more. I want more. So it's like, I love you. Good job. Nice work. All right, what's next?
Oh, that's awesome.
So
he's got the black. We have one person that we know now that has a black jersey in Matt Rhule's. Caleb's got one of them. Is he the only one? No, that'd be news.
No.
It's just they're all looking up to Caleb.
He's not. No, he's not. There's more.
I know, but that's an awesome honor.
Yeah, I mean, not too bad.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna get back to Tracy Chapman. BC, I've laughed. So I'm coming off probably like a very average 3.5 month stretch here. Very average. But in the last 24 hours, twice I've laughed harder than maybe I have in 10 years. So, I mean, things are looking up. How about you?
Yeah, things are all right. We're planning. My wife and I are planning a trip in a couple of weeks, so that's going to be fun. The Minnesota Wild, which I'm not a diehard. I'm not one of those guys who has a hockey sweater and walks around with his jean shorts and his hockey sweater on or anything. But the Wild, Wild are up 3-2 in their series over the Stars, and so I kind of appreciated that last night. So yeah, a couple things are coming together. The Twins are what we thought the Twins would be now. So we don't have to keep talking about them each week. They're going to be a 70-win team. So everything's kind of lined up how it's supposed to be. I feel pretty good myself.
BC, I'm going to go out on a limb and say if you, in fact, if the Wild advance and you go to a Minnesota Wild home game, the NHL environment will be the greatest sports environment that you have been in.
Yeah, I went to a playoff game last year with the Wild. The Vegas, Minnesota first round. That's kind of where the Wild have their seasons have ended for the most part since they've been there. But it was like a double overtime game, and it was probably I would say top 10 sporting events. It would have been higher if I had like more invested in them. I don't want to pretend like I'm a huge fanboy, so it didn't hurt me when they lost. I was at the game where Blair Walsh for the Vikings missed a 27-yarder against Seattle when it was negative 30-degree wind chill. Now that one like gutted my soul, but I'm not in that category with the Minnesota Wild yet, where it can wound me like that.
Wound. I don't feel so good. How about the cardiac? I hate to say cardiac kids because they played the Cats last night, but Stokes was hilarious. Like, just kind of like his coach, telling it like it is. He's like, yeah, we're never really out of it. We're kind of good. It kind of annoys me when people leave early. Like, anything's possible with this team. And it's like, boom, man, 7-6. Squarely, not even on the bubble, like squarely in the host site talk. Like, wouldn't you just shake your head at this team and be like, oh, well, that's just what they do?
Now, isn't that one of the most beautiful things in sports when a baseball team has sort of the juju they've got going, where you have that belief and you are figuring out ways to win walk-off games, and there's kind of a drumbeat to it throughout the season, and it just builds momentum. And then, within that dugout, you're down 6-4, late innings, but you're like, we've been here before. We're going to do it again. And it's just expected that you are going to come through. And I was listening to the last few innings, and, I expected them to win. And they've taken a major step as a program. Obviously, Bruns knows it inside and out way more than I do. That's his beat. So I let him fly with that. But as just a casual, it's fun. It's a fun ride to jump on, with reason to have confidence in the late inning that they're going to find a way, because they've done it so many times now.
So BC, let me ask you something. Because I'm to the point now, obviously, where since I'm not playing, it's okay. It's cool to look ahead. Right, it's like, let's say they host and they win. Like, so I'm all immersed in that. Right, it's kind of like with Nebraska basketball, where I was looking at all the potential 3, 4, 5 seeds, about 6-7 weeks left to go in the season, so Nebraska could get the best position. I'm a nerd. Just short. So it tentatively, at least right now, they could be paired with A&M. As kind of the match site. And I know Nebraska's got to get there. But when you look at kind of what Coach Bolt's been through, you had the mass exodus. We talked to Ben McLaughlin last week.
I think so.
Benny Mac, he was so forthright and transparent about, because, he has the insights that nobody else does, right? Where, the rumblings within the program. And we were talking about Rhett Stokes and how he really didn't have a job, and he decided, hey, you're going to have to play me. He has the walk-off last night. You get guys that go to the bullpen and they sack up and they kind of salvage. They kind of stem the tide, not salvage. They stem the tide, right, for what's going on in the middle of the season. Are you allowing yourself, how big are you allowing yourself to think with this baseball team? Are they giving you more 2021 vibes, 2014 vibes? Like, how big are you thinking with this team?
I don't think we have to put a ceiling on them. We've seen in the NCAA baseball tournament, I think in recent years, like even, teams that you wouldn't expect to find their way to Omaha somehow. We've seen 3 seeds. I think a 4 seed won it one year, didn't they? 15 years ago, maybe. But and obviously Nebraska's above that level with the current team they have. But my point being, I think if you've got a team right now that has confidence and like belief in some bullpen arms, and also has put together enough late inning at bats where guys just have sort of that winning way, and they're able to grind it out and find a way to produce runs late, like this team has done, there's no reason to curb what you can do. So that, especially if they were able to host a regional. And so I'd go to that part, because that's something I can speak the best on. Is I remember what it was like around here. I graduated UNL in 2003, and I was interning at the the Journal Star, and I started the Journal Star around 2004. And Kurt McKeever was the beat writer for baseball.
I'm a huge McKeever guy.
Yeah. And when they made the CWS and when they were hosting regionals at Haymarket, we would have like 5 people from the paper over there covering this event. And it was just an unbelievable, one of my favorite times as like a young writer, just like the atmosphere around the park. People were skipping work to go to the afternoon games and stuff like that. And then of course, anybody who was around the first time when they made it to Rosenblatt, and then of course, actually won a game at the CWS, on their third try. It was like nothing else. So I think of those years, and I know we can dangerously sometimes drift too much into nostalgia around here, but I'm using those thoughts as like to know what it can be again and what that's like if Nebraska were to host or something like that, and just the energy and juice around it. And even a few years ago when, they were going toe to toe with Arkansas in that series, you felt it that weekend, like how this state and fan base just gravitates toward it when they're in the thick of it and in the serious games like that, where there's so much drama in the late innings and it draws people in. And so that's where I go, is just the excitement, because if we're going to be candid, there are a lot of casuals who they kind of wait until maybe about this point a year. And they're like, okay, where's this thing heading? And it's picking up steam fast now. And you can sense, with how they drew, like in the USC series at Haymarket, there were some of those old time vibes at the park to me. And I love that. So that's where my head goes and how excited I am about where they're positioned right now. And whatever they do with it on the field, I think within their locker room, they should have belief they could do about anything. But at least as from a media/fan standpoint, it's enjoyable that we're having these conversations again. And because some of us really remember well that it is a special atmosphere that's right up there near the top as far as Husker athletics when they are playing those kind of games in May and June.
Hey, BC, how about the irony, though, with from Coach Manning, who was kind of managing the expectations and he had to take a hard look at his program, and they've had this ascent. We know it's well documented what happened with Coach Hoiberg. Coach Ravel was so candid and good yesterday with her needing. She said, I had to pull back and kind of be introspective and take some self-inventory. And we've seen it with Coach Bolt, right? Where Benny Mack laid it out last week for those of us that had forgotten about the mass exodus after last year and where was this baseball program going. And I'm not going to necessarily draw the connection to football, but how important are the ingredients that you think these coaches showed, whether it's, moving on from an Abdel Massey or revamping the staff, or what Coach Bolt did with recruiting and Manning reinvesting and Coach Ravel and her. How important do you think the self-awareness aspect of it is, not just the opportunity to have the chance to get it right?
Yeah. I mean, what you've seen in almost most of the Husker coaches is there's just not a lot of panic, right? They have an ability with all the people you mentioned to recalibrate, to really take stock of the big picture, but also what do I have in my particular area to work with, and how can we do it best with what we have to work with? Not making any excuses. This is the way it is, and let's go. And I think if you looked at all those coaches, I think a commonality would be they don't spend time worrying about what they don't have, or in some cases even what somebody else does have. It's just a very clear focus of, okay, here's what's in front of me, and these are the resources, and I have more than some people do. There's some people that maybe have more than we do, but let's go. Like, we can figure this out, and there's a belief in themselves to make that happen. But I mean, just the ability to not get panicked, and it's tough. Like if you you go back to Fred and like those first 3 years, and he's a coach who had won at such a nice level at, Iowa State. And there was no coach that's ever been hired at Nebraska that I was like more confident in when he had the press conference like this. I was like, this is going to happen. He's going to do great here. And I was like kind of shell shocked those first few years when it didn't. And I'm only bringing that up to say, like, imagine what it's like to be in his shoes during those moments. And he was able to like collect it, like, okay, I got to make this move here, make this move there, maybe redirect a little bit and how we've looked at things over in this area, and just steadily kept that thing rising. And a lot of coaches have done that. And to the football thing, that's why I say on this show all the time, I have an open mind. He's going into year 4. There's reason for people to have their skepticism, to worry about, if they can figure it out. That's what fans do. But also, you do have to leave open the possibility and be supportive or excited about the possibility that a coach with a good plan and a level mindset can find his way to improve something after a few years. It doesn't always just happen right away. And so you got to keep that in mind.
Kind of going back into football, as you talk about things improving, a lot of people will point to that 2027 class for Nebraska as evidence of that. Nebraska just added to that with Corey Hadley Jr., a 4-star safety. Was this expected? And what do you know about Corey Hadley in terms of as a football player?
Yeah, I wasn't surprised that Corey committed. I was maybe thinking it was going to not happen until June, until the OV. So
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, so that was sort of a pleasant, I feel like a jolt. Like, it wasn't like the biggest deal in the world, but it was nice to get like a guy to raise his hand sort of in this kind of holding pattern period before the official visits happen. And what I would go to with him is Addison Williams, and just the way he connects with recruits, not only on a personal level outside of the football area. Whenever you talk to a recruit about him, it's always Coach Addy. Like, I remember I was at an event, there's a bunch of, a 4-star top 50 type recruits, and they all call him Coach Addy. Like, just like it's that kind of connection with him.
Current guys do too. Yeah.
I mean, but just like to get guys who aren't even here yet, it's like you can sense like they have so much respect for him, and have that personal, he has that personal touch. And the other thing about Addison Williams is when you look at some of these guys, like Hadley was a guy, he was on pretty early before others. Like, I mean, he has some of these guys that when he was at UCF, that he had already put the line in the water and evaluated and saw what was there before everybody else, before it came in vogue to go after that certain recruit. Like Danny Odom was a guy, he was in on the ground floor before all the stars were attached to his name. And so Addison Williams is a heck of a recruiter, I think. And they've stockpiled some guys over there now that I mean, you can see it with Jeep, with just the guys they're in on, and how I think conversations have shifted a little bit with those type of players on the O-line. And it'll be interesting to see what Corey Brown and Roy Manning can get done. And I think you've actually, with Dvorak, you've seen some, and obviously Rob Orich has like such a say in the linebackers too. I think you've seen them kind of jump in on some guys there where people are leaning in a little bit more. So I think the recruiting has the guys they have are the right type of guys to try to get this done. Now, obviously, as you guys have talked about on your show, you got to have that. Nowadays, you got to have that figure at the beginning, that you have the resources in order, which Rhule spent a lot of time on, like this is what we can give you. And then you go from there. But he does have some coaches, I think, who can really sell this program well.
Yeah, it's interesting how I think if time, I think he's going to try to double down on the development. But have you made the distinction of whether they just want to be able to have a seat at the table versus the portal being the direction they really want to go?
Go further with that. What do you mean?
Like, when you hear like the resources, do you look at it more as hey, we just want to be able to be in the discussion for some of these top guys, whether we spend them, whether they say yes to us or not, but we still want to be in the development business? Or do you look at it as, listen, if we start getting these guys out of the portal, then we'll be able to make hay?
It's a good question. I mean, I think they need to you have to have the money to be in the discussion first off, and I think they feel like they can play ball with everything around them, with talking about development, with, like, for instance, it's fair to be disappointed, like, in sort of Nebraska's draft situation the last decade. That's a real topic, and it's a fair topic to have. It just hasn't gone as you'd hope as far as guys, name going off the board. But in a way, the first round was really useful to Nebraska football this year, because of two key coaches that you just hired, being able to point to, like, Jeep Wade, his Rutledge, from Georgia Tech, going as a 26 pick. And then, one selection later, a cornerback from San Diego State, one of Rob Orch's guys, goes. And I think that's something where, I mean, these are two of your biggest hires, two guys who can talk to their current players, talk to guys you're recruiting, talk to guys in the portal. Like, I mean, there's been development there. They're connected to guys who have made it to the league. Obviously, Rhule and some of these coaches have those connections they can lean on too. But that's a current. There's some current events there that can play into talking to guys about how they've developed. But then, first off, you do have to be in the ballpark on some of these guys with the money, I think, because, as I think it was your show where Rhule said that whether it's fair or not, guys do look at that. There's that psychological or whatever effect, as he put it, of like, this is how much you're worth to me, whether, that's not necessarily true. Like, everybody wishes maybe they could give more to a certain recruiter, put this in front of them. But a guy who's looking at a school's like, okay, this is how you value me through sort of the initial offers that are in front of them. So you do have to have that, I think, as a doorstep first off. But then I think this staff really would love to be able to, okay, we're in that conversation. Now we're going to show you how we can develop you at this program. And if you stay for 4 or 5 years, it's not just about your short-term success, but we think we can be the type of coaches to, try to get you to the NFL, get you a second contract, that sort of thing.
BC, I've been thinking a lot about that money part that Coach Rhule talked about, because I believe I asked him the question, because I've been trying to reevaluate how I sort of process some of these discussions with recruits and guys in the transfer portal about how their decision-making process is. Because it's really easy for me to sit here and be like, oh, I don't really think guys that make decisions based on money are the type of guys that you want in your program. But at the same time, I thought Rhule brought up a really good point where he says, well, it's not, and it reminded me of a line from Moneyball where it goes, you're not making a decision about the money. You're making a decision about how people value you, right? Mm-hmm. You're making a decision about how people want to invest in you. And I felt I'll be honest, I've been thinking a lot about that, because I was like, I feel like I'm being super hypocritical here about whether, because I mean, in our business, in whatever you do, people want to feel valued, right? And so you may not be making it because, if we're talking about recruits, that $600,000 is that much more important to you than $500,000, but it shows a level of commitment and support to you that maybe that's the thing that's most important. And I just sit here and I go, okay, Nebraska definitely needs to be able to show the guys that they value them in that way.
Yeah. And I don't want to speak too much for Rhule, but connect what he said on your show and the fact that he told, some reporters at the event Friday, right now he's spending like 50% of his time like on that, the NIL component, or, kind of with maybe those 27 guys in mind. That tells you how big a deal that is to be like ready to roll, especially as these June OVs, come along with like, here, we can give you this, put you in the ballpark, hopefully, of what others are doing. And then I think you're hoping that, like, even if it's if you're within $50,000, let's just say, throw a number out there of somebody else, that then like a player is really looking at more of a longer term aspect of it, and that you can get those type of guys who just really believe, like, you know what, even if I made a little less here off the jump, I believe in how I believe in this staff and the way they're going to develop me as a person and as a player, that there's going to be a longer term benefit of it. And it doesn't matter as much, I guess, anymore. But I still think there's a lot to be said for in certain markets, especially in Lincoln, Nebraska. Like, if you're a Husker and you finished your career as a Husker, like, I think you need to put that value in front of people too, like what it means to like walk around the rest of your life in this place that cares so much about that program, with that attached to you, and what benefits come with that as well, because that is a major perk, and something that I think sometimes gets lost more in the discussion now as we talk about all the other things. But I would like to think there's still a lot of value in that.
For what you think Nebraska wants to do, and they're going to have to play by the rules, I think it's got a lot of holes in it, and they're going to spend quite a bit of time tied up in court. But for what Nebraska wants to do, right? Get old, stay old, this whole kind of narrative about development and only supplementing and not supplanting in the portal. You think 5 for 5 is advantageous for Nebraska?
I've kind of thought so on the surface. Yeah. I think if it settled down and there's a 5 for 5 and there was an actual rule implemented where you could only transfer once, and then there was a penalty attached or a year to sit, like it used to be when I first started covering this thing, which we used to not even flinch at back then, that was a thing. I would say that could be my surface answer is yes. At just quick glance, I think it would be better for Nebraska, because I think it's a place that guys seem to really enjoy being around the program. Like, I mean, they've got unbelievable facilities, better than almost anywhere else. And, you've got a passionate fan base. And like I said, you've got opportunities post college here that are afforded to you, I think, because of being a Husker. And so, yeah, I think there's a lot of things that work in Nebraska's favor with the 5 for 5, but also just like the way I think Matt Rhule like is built, like, and he loves that development part and having guys around. And that's why this season's so fascinating. Like, everybody, I know some people are kind of down or not wanting to get too excited about it, but there are so many guys where if you talk about being a development program and like, are you, can you excel that way? This roster is just loaded with those type of players. You go like through each position group, you can find, 4 to 6 guys you could name off at some of the spots that have more players in the room, where it's like, okay, they're year 3 or 4, where are they going to take this now? And guys that we're maybe not even talking about as much that I think are going to emerge in the fall and be key to whether this team has success or not. Like, there's your Sua Lafotu type guys, like, there's so many guys like in the secondary, like Caleb, and guys who are pushing to be a part of it that I think could have a big say in it. And so that to me makes it a really fascinating season.
BC, as you're sitting here and we're on April 30th, feels like we should have a spring game around here, but we're well past that. Have you started kind of coming up with your like list of summer questions that you're thinking about for football, in terms of, hey, these are the things I'm most interested to see come fall, or are we too far away from that still?
I don't know if I've thought about it exactly like that, but I've definitely in the last couple days, I was excited this week, and it's really starting to take place. Yesterday, I began it with like the quarterbacks. I was like, you know what? I don't feel like I have taken a deep dive into this roster as much as I have in past off seasons. And I'm just really eager to go through each position group and think about, there are some guys who stick out immediately as headliners, but I do think this season's going to be defined so much in development of guys who, whether they're a starter or not, like, what can they give you? Like, I could throw out, like, they would seem like the most random names on April 30th, but I could throw out like a Gabe Moore, like on the defensive line, or somebody like that, or like a Pierce Mooberry at linebacker. And I just think about different players as I go through the position groups, where I don't know if we'll hear from them right off the jump. I don't know if they're second team, third team, where it's going to all stack up, but I really would like to get more into this roster in depth, because I do feel like there's been so many other things we've been talking about, and that for good reason, but I kind of want to just get to that football, like personnel part of it. Like, and I don't feel like I've done that as much this offseason as I have on past ones. And so I'm really excited to like help my own knowledge base on like, okay, how could this all fit together now, and really thinking about this roster and 26 season and how they can impact things.
So you know what's interesting? You mentioned guys like Mooberry, and I'm just trying to think of. I'm going back to that development thing, and I'm thinking, okay, Coach Orich, his baby is obviously linebackers, right? Like I watch him work, and I like what Dvorak does. I maybe as part of this development thing, because I'm big on the second level guys. Everybody was kind of focusing on D-line, and I get that, right? Like D-line, you got to play better, this, that, and the other. But I don't worry so much about that now with Corey Brown and how they want to play with 4 down and kind of distinct defined roles, right? I think they have a lot of options there. We'll see what happens. But second level, one of the cool things is, because one of the things I love about Coach Dvorak is he's a really good teacher. So while they're getting acclimated, because if I'm a DC and I coach a specific position, which I do, I don't always want to have to focus on that particular position. Sometimes I want to see it globally. I think for some of these guys with so many hands on deck, development might increase, especially on the second level, right? So if Dvorak and Orich are getting on the same page about, hey, when the actual handoff's going to be, you got to learn this terminology first. I want to be able to go, macro, not just micro. Like, I'm fascinated to see what happens on that second level, having 2 guys that I think are pretty good teachers in a room that I think if they make a jump could change Nebraska. I mean, in a hurry.
Yes.
About fitting on the second level.
Yes, totally agree. Now, you could make an argument linebackers as interesting as any position group on this roster.
It is for me. It's number 1.
Absolutely, because I mean, you could start with just the new guys with Chambliss and Dexter Foster, and just they looked apart. They got bigger there, and Chambliss obviously knows it well. And I like the confidence Owen Chambliss has in himself. Like he's like, I'm a high IQ player. Like he said that, and like he really believes in his abilities. And I think how they can translate here. Will Hawthorne obviously came in too with those guys. But then there's that other group that's trying to come up, and I know Dawson Merritt's been hurt. So, but you think about him in the background, and then a Mooberry, and then there's other guys who could factor in.
You see, the only senior they have on paper is Gage Stenger.
Yes.
I mean, Chambliss a junior, Foster's a junior, Shaver's a junior, Bauer's a junior, Merritt's young, Euler's young, Wacker's young. You got Mooberry and Jones and Will Hawthorne. You just brought in Jace Reynolds. Like, they don't have a senior in the bunch outside of Stenger, who I love.
Yep. And what does Shavers do? What does V9 do? With these other guys have come in. There's been a lot of talk about, Chambliss and Foster for fair reason. But like that's a determined guy who he's a football lover, Shavers. Like he's one of those guys who will be in the lab as much as it takes. And he played half the season with one hand last year. You got to remember that. So I'm really curious where he can take his game. And, you go back to like Pat Stewart, the GM's, press conference a couple months ago. He made a point that Shavers was one of the key guys to retain, on this roster. And so throw that storyline in, the new guys, the young guys trying to get their reps in. Pretty intriguing group with, the DC sort of has had a microscope on backers in his career and knows that position well, but also he's like you say, he can hand it off to Dvorak and trust him and have the big picture view. So yeah, they're a group who you hope is just that dynamic bunch that is not just stopping plays, but making plays. And I think there are some capabilities there. You don't want to go too far with it yet, but they should be like one of the highest positions of intrigue, I think.
That's our guy, BC. Brian Christopherson, Husker 24/7. Appreciate the time as always. We will talk to you next week.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, B.
That is Brian Christopherson, Husker 24/7. Take a quick break here. We'll get back to Kevin Suits from 1011 News in Lincoln right after this.
It's time to shift into spring at Edwards Kia. Lease the 2026 Kia Seltos LX as low as $198 a month. Shift into spring for less. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Drive away with more this April. Or lease the 2026 Kia Sportage LX as low as $228 a month. Don't wait. Shift into a fresh deal this spring at Edwards Kia. It pays to make the drive to Edwards Kia.
Obviously, the opportunity to get better and all of those things are baked into this decision. What about winning? Obviously, this program saw new heights of winning at Nebraska last year. Things that have never been done before throughout the year. It wasn't just the NCAA tournament. How important was maybe getting back to that level, or I guess getting to that level again and helping the team in your decision?
100%. That definitely played a part. Growing up, you always watch March Madness, and as a little kid, you kind of just assume that like everyone makes it, and then as you get a little bit older, you're like, wait a minute, like you got to work for this.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to make the tournament my past 3 years, and that's something that I really want to be able to do this last year, and I want to be a part of helping the team get there. So it definitely played a huge role. Walking inside Pinnacle Bank, I can only imagine what it's like with fans. I'm sure it's amazing atmosphere. So it definitely played a big role. I want to come in, help impact the team, and get some wins for sure.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. We are joined now by Kevin Suits from 1011 News in Lincoln. Kevin, how are we doing this morning?
I'm doing well. Good morning to you guys. Let's start by, I know I alternate weeks with Andy Kendi. It's his birthday, so happy birthday, Andy. And it's very nice of you guys to gift him an additional 20 minutes that he can walk his dogs this morning.
You guys are fantastic. Because I can't remember what we were talking about. He somehow wove in a Kevin Suits reference last week.
He did.
Oh, you know what it was, Kev? It was Ravi was asking him about his setup with the cameras and stuff, and he was like, "Well, I can't let Kevin out." It's hilarious how guys that do the same thing get along so well. It is the mutual respect is hilarious. And so, AK, what is he? He's 64 today, right? Right, Kevin?
21. That's what I heard. 21. Is that right?
Yeah, 21, and we've got to go get him a lot of Diet Cokes.
That's right.
A lot of Diet Cokes.
I got a couple in my bag if he needs one.
Pour one out. Hey, so I can't, Kevin. Listen. You're my guy. I rock with you. I have for years. I can't believe you acquiesce and put more cookies and dessert snacks in the snack box.
Hold on. First, I need you to hold the slander here, because the thing that I specifically asked for, I didn't ask for cookies. I asked for some more like charcuterie meats. That's what I asked for specifically.
Well, he caved on the beef sticks.
I didn't hate on the popcorners. I didn't hate on the beef sticks.
They're
was like,
poppables,
whatever they are. I was just like, listen, we got a lot of fruits and veggies up in here. I could use maybe some salami. That's all I said. Don't come at me with the cookie slander. All right.
I'm a people pleaser, like I can't have Ravi getting too critical about the snackle box here. So, we went.
I am pro cookies.
We threw some Chips Ahoy in there, and it wasn't as healthy the last time we packed it. But I'm glad you guys can be so invested in what my kids are eating in between their baseball games.
Listen, I'm just glad you're playing along. I'm fascinated by when you first. What did he call it? A snackle box?
Yeah.
When you first said that, I was like, oh my gosh, I think I'm going to have to be this guy eventually. And then to watch it play out and planning, and I pitted against how much you love being a parent, I was like, this is going to be a thing. I'm just all in.
And we got to be honest with you that sometimes that thing's pretty bare. If the pantry is a little low on inventory or the refrigerator's a little dry, whew, it's tough. You don't get those pictures. You get the ones right after we hit a Costco.
I swear, if I see some veggie straws up in here, we're going to have some words.
Dude,
we can put them in this week. We've got them right now.
Veggie straws are legit.
You can't do that to the kids, putting veggie straws in there. Come on, man.
They're probably stale. I think they've been there quite a while. They were good for like 2 days, and then, boom, they're gone. As in, they're not getting eaten anymore.
I do have I've got questions. Okay, so there's two. Number one, maybe you just answered it. It's based on what's available. But number two, how do you, when you're planning, how long in advance are you doing this thing?
48 hours. It's like, like the way we're structured, we're not planning this on Monday or Tuesday. It's like Thursday, and we're like, holy crap, we have 3 baseball games on Saturday, and somehow we got to feed these boys. And that's when there's a quick run to Hy-Vee, Walmart, whatever. Like it's the stock up in the family group chat. Oh my goodness. The kids don't know to like send a list of like 10 things that they would like to have for snacks for the weekend. Instead, it's like one says beef sticks, and then the other one responds Doritos. And then so like you get 41 messages all with one-line answers, and it's our grocery list. There are so many better ways to be efficient with the communication, but we're dealing with teenagers here and a preteen, and the preteen can eat our house completely dry. So I'm glad we could spend so much time talking about how the Suits family organizes the snackle box for baseball season.
Listen, okay, so we'll get to a few sports. I want to stay right in the heart of it. I follow, the Hurrdat family, and I went to school the same time Darren did, and I obviously know his wife really, really well. And she's talking about golf and Lincoln East in golf, and you're tweeting about no hitters this week and what's going on. I'm just trying to figure out with is close knit, because this is an underlying thing I don't think people give you guys enough credit for. The community is everybody knows what everybody's doing. All the sports are connected. The news, it's like, well, hey, what about us? And Pius will be doing something, and East will be doing something, and Lincoln Christian will be doing something, and there's a lot going on. How do you parse through the feedback when everybody seems so closely connected? Right? Like everybody's kind of got skin in the game. Hey, what about my kid? Hey, what about my sport? Hey, there's a lot of good going on. Like, how are you doing this?
You do the best you can. That's a pretty deep question, and there's so many layers to it, DB. You can't be everything to everyone, but you try to make sure you grab onto the big accomplishments of the student athletes across our area and make sure that you also just weave in other things that can hit your heart. So you just mentioned, the Hurrdat family and the fact that Darren's 2 high school age boys, they don't play baseball. They don't play baseball, but they're now golfers. And Zach, who's a senior, is going to go golf collegiately. They're apart. They shot 10 under at Beatrice, and they broke the school record.
Like, that's crazy.
And did you see how Jess said that, like, Darren's happy being the 3rd best golfer in the family right now? Like, what a shot from the hip.
That is so her. She pulls no punches and takes 0 back seats.
Yeah, there's a little spunk in her, and that was a great comment that she made. But So we'll use the Hurrdat family kind of to answer the question. Does that grab like the broad scope of our audience? A little bit because of the name, but more importantly, Zach and Adam were a part of a historic accomplishment by one of the notable local teams in our area. So it is worth publicizing. It's worth sharing with the people across the Lincoln community that may not know about it. And same thing with Bryson Burt. He's a pitcher of Seward, threw a no-hitter earlier this week. In the second that I see that, I'm like, one, I'm super happy for Bryson, and I'm happy for that team, which is having a pretty good year. And I don't know that a whole lot of people know about Seward's baseball success this season. So we use Bryson to promote him, but also to shine the light on one of our area teams. The challenge is there are so many teams and there are so many amazing student athletes. It's like, how do you tell all of them without giving your consumers, whether it's online, on the television, not give them fatigue, because you could wear them out. Another one that comes to mind right now is Standing Bear baseball. They're having the best season in their program's history, and they had Westside on the ropes the other day. Took them to extra innings.
Again, and they're not, what are they? They're 2 years old. I mean, for competing on varsity level, right? Like, that's incredible.
But I said, 3 years ago, look out, because the 2027 class. So like I've been watching those kids since they were playing 9U baseball. Like, this is my wheelhouse in terms of like having a pretty good handle on the skill set, especially in baseball, of some kids in Lincoln, and just having seen them at the youth level. And you would see one kid say, I'm going to Standing Bear. And the next kid says, I'm going to Standing Bear. And Beacom's awesome, just a great coach and a great guy. And he just took full ownership of, starting that program. And he was able to get some good ball players. So, Standing Bear has a chance here next week when districts roll up to make a lot of noise in Class B. And I'm really excited about them. And again, they kind of fall into that category of, do you tell the masses about Standing Bear baseball? Right? Like, as of right now, yes, Standing Bear deserves the publicity, and we want to make sure that we give them that.
Kevin, how much do you think about the things that people already care about, the things they care about, versus, hey, if more people knew about this, they'd care about this too?
Yeah, you got to be careful with that, forcing, because now you can kind of get a little bit of agenda. And plus, like, one thing I have to always be mindful of with that is because, I have high school age students at home. So I got to make sure I'm not like pushing a story from that school, because now I can, lean into this realm of bias. And I want to make sure I'm not doing that. But at the same token, I'm at local track meets, I'm at local baseball games, and I'm able to see some of these students, some of these coaches, some of these community members, and it helps, I guess, grow my inventory of storylines from across the community. You just have to be very cautious about telling a story that, one, either has an agenda personally, which I really try to avoid that, and two, that may just kind of fall flat. And that's where I think I have the benefit of having worked in the media for over 2 decades, that you can identify like, no, this is a good story. And I think that, the 35-year-old working mom is going to want to hear this. So we're going to lean into that story.
See, here, the main, as I'm listening, stop being so well liked. If you weren't so accessible, like, you wouldn't have to worry about kind of placating and doing what's going on with other people. Like, just be obtuse and kind of stick your head in the sand, and you don't have to worry about it. Why don't you just do it that way?
Well, people that see me at youth baseball games, they know. Like, I don't know if they say like, "Hey, don't approach them," but I'm usually way down the line, and I'm fairly quiet. If I open my mouth, then I'm just having a bad day. Yeah, and I've told you guys too. With my youngest, he plays catcher, and I know the closer I get to home plate, the worse I am. I belong down by the foul pole, and just further away from the action, the better the experience is going to be for me, my wife, and everybody else that's there. They don't need me opening my big old mouth.
Kevin, we gotta get to this, because some of these guys, some of them are local, and obviously Wordley's going to get all the headlines. Stokes is going to get all the headlines. Nebraska wins again firmly. They're short of a postseason meltdown. They will host
So now I'm just interested in who's coming to Lincoln. When you're watching these guys, and I think one of the greatest stories ever, and I feel like I have freedom now because we had Benny Mack on last week, and he and I have talked behind the scenes about a lot about what happened with this team last year and the mass exodus and Coach Bolt, just really taking some self-inventory with the staff and what they needed to do with the roster. You're talking about storylines. How good of a story is Rhett Stokes, where there was no real spot for him? He was told, listen, it's going to be tough, if you come back. And Rhett basically says, hey, man, you're going to play me. And I'm all in. And the season he's having is just a microcosm of what I think it's after. And I mean, I don't want to do a disservice to Benny Mack's story, but I mean, listen, like he was all but left for dead, right? It was a challenging off season, and here Stokes is, and as my man Ben McLaughlin likes to say, great person who's just good at everything, right? He said from golf to ping pong to baseball, like he's just competitive. How good of a story is Rhett Stokes?
Rhett Stokes is a great example for any young aspiring baseball player, and the communication maybe a parent or coach could have with him. And it's this: make it so you can't play me. He earned his spot back in the lineup. He earned his spot back on the field because he's hitting so well. You can't keep a guy that is constantly producing in the dugout.
Yeah.
He did that at practice. He did that with his everyday character, behavior, discipline. And, he really didn't become a fixture in this year's lineup until a third of the season was done. And now he's hitting well over 300. He has 2 walk-off hits on this season. And you can tell this is, and also, like, I'll say this about like how Rhett Stokes can be used as an example for young baseball players. That 9-hole spot, it's not a spot for the worst hitter on the team. It is somebody who can produce with guys on base, or in the other sense, that can set the table as the top of the order rolls. Yeah. So, like, he has been so solid. And I think it's interesting. Rhett Stokes wears jersey number 9. He bats in the 9-hole, and he's probably at his best in the 9th inning. 2 walk-off hits already this season for the Huskers, and he's brought incredible value to this really sensational season for Nebraska baseball.
Kevin, appreciate the time as always. Terrific stuff. Appreciate the Snackle Box talk as always. And
can I ask one more question?
I mean, you can do whatever you want.
So, where are you in town this week?
Come
on, man.
Conference track and field meet up in Columbus. Maybe leaving early to get back for a baseball game in Lincoln.
So baseball. So your family's baseball is in town?
Yes, we have a doubleheader Saturday in Lincoln.
I have a graduation in Central City, man. I want to come hang out and see the vibes. That's what I want to do.
Be careful. Be careful with what you want to see.
All right, buddy. Best wishes to you.
Thanks for having me on.
That's Kevin Suits, 1011 News in Lincoln. We'll be right back with Michael Severe here on Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's time to shift into spring at Edwards Kia. Lease the 2026 Kia Seltos LX as low as $198 a month. Shift into spring for less. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Drive away with more this April. Or lease the 2026 Kia Sportage LX as low as $228 a month. Don't wait. Shift into a fresh deal this spring at Edwards Kia. It pays to make the drive to Edwards Kia.
Obviously, the opportunity to get better and all of those things are baked into this decision. What about winning? Obviously, this program saw new heights of winning at Nebraska last year. Things that have never been done before throughout the year. It wasn't just the NCAA tournament. How important was maybe getting back to that level, or I guess getting to that level again and helping the team in your decision?
100%. That definitely played a part. Growing up, you always watch March Madness, and as a little kid, you kind of just assume that like everyone makes it. And then as you get a little bit older, you're like, wait a minute, like you got to work for this.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to make the tournament my past 3 years, and that's something that I really want to be able to do this last year. And I want to be a part of, helping the team get there. So it definitely played a huge role. Walking inside Pinnacle Bank, I can only imagine what it's like with fans. I'm sure it's amazing atmosphere. So it definitely played a big role. I want to come in, help impact the team, and get some wins for sure.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Mail Medical. That's DBM Ravi, Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ.
I'm a child.
We are joined now by Michael Severe. He is the co-host of Let It Fly and, of course, the executive director of the Jet Award Foundation. Michael, how are we doing this morning?
I think you guys have the best hold music of any show that I ever go on. I'm jamming.
Let's
Such
go.
good hold music. I don't know where that stuff comes from. If DJ Shane is producing it himself, but it's good.
Hey, you would have been so proud of Shane, because he never stands up for himself. He slit Ravi's throat twice today, and it was spectacular.
I didn't even do anything to Shane this morning.
And Shane was like, yeah, you know what, Ravi, take this. And you'd have been like, stand up for yourself, Shane.
Like a razor or just like biting commentary?
So Ravi was talking about counting. He butchered the term, right? Like fast dimes versus slow nickels. And so we got into fast versus slow. And I said, well, what do you know about fast versus slow? Because he said fast dimes versus slow dollars. And I was like, dollars are too big. That's too big. Like you can count slow dollars and still crush fast dimes. And Shane hit Ravi with this.
You got a fast car, and I want the ticket anyway.
That is racist. I'm going to put that out there. That's extremely racist from a guy who likes to make fun of light-skinned black people. I understand where you would laugh. That's racism like that. I get it. That's cool. That's understandable. I get it.
Skin.
I get it. You probably make fun of her too. I know I've heard you talk about D behind her back. That's fine. But anyway, that was very racist. Is that is the FCC chairman going to come get you guys? I mean that's kind of scary. He's going to everybody.
You know, I've got this thing about running 20 mile an hour. I've had to back it down. I started at 30 and then I started at 20. And so almost every day, because as you know, I'm petty, I drive my car in the parking lot at like 20 miles an hour. And I'm like, this is so slow. Like, Shane, we could run this fast, because they don't think I could run 20 mile an hour for two driveway lengths. And Shane goes, what? He goes, I don't know why you're always so worried about driving. What is it, like driving Miss Daisy? And I go, Shane,
yeah, racist. That's racist too. Yeah, that's filled with racism. Yeah.
And Shane, he's pleading. You know, Shane, he's traumatized. He's like, I'm so sorry. I've never seen the movie. I don't know what you mean. Like, what do you mean? I go, who doesn't know about driving Miss Daisy?
I've not seen the movie. Have you ever? So occasionally we go out west. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 5 a.m.
Is that west of 90th?
Like it's way out there. It's 180th and B, I think, is where Jay's house is. We go out to. And so in the neighborhood, they have those signs, the speed limit signs that show how fast you're going.
Yeah.
Right. And so one of the things they would do is they would run and they would see how high the number would be to see who ran the fastest. And so I'm in the group one time and I'm like, I'll do this. What the hell? Right. And so I take off. And I see I'm going like 13. I'm like, well, I can get to maybe 15. And boy, that calf popped and it was not good. I was about 3 miles away from that back to the house. Like, I'm limping the whole way back.
You could walk. You get vibes. You could walk at least 9 mile an hour.
No.
With you, it's incredible.
No. I wish that's true. So, I walk, obviously, and I get the charting on my phone. Off of my watch, and basically when I'm walking is about a 15-50 mile, which isn't that fast. It's like 3.7, 3.8.
If I don't sleep and I don't use the restroom unless it's standing on the fly, could I get to Lincoln in a day?
Oh, yeah, sure. It takes to get from depends on where you're starting. Say you're starting where we used to start. Say you start the state capitol from Lincoln and come back to Omaha. You can get back to Omaha in about 15 hours if you're walking at a normal rate. If you could walk at 4.0, you can get back in right at 14 and a half hours if you walk that fast. But we don't walk that fast. We walk like at 3.2, 3.3.
How sore would I be?
The feet, man. It's your feet. Your feet just aren't used to being in shoes and walking like that on uneven surfaces. So, like, I have the one toenail.
Yeah, I know.
Doing this, I have one toenail. The big toenails have never grown back. The toenails I have are my two little toenails, half of one, full of the other. That's all I have. It's your feet, man. Your feet just get beat up.
You'll be all right.
All right, man. Come on, man. Like,
I'm just telling you. You asked about soreness. It's not anything but the feet, really. I mean, if you're carrying a ruck, your hips and your back are sore because you're carrying a ruck.
Hey, what's the H? What's the H word again?
The H word?
What H word did you just say?
Ruck.
No, he said hips.
Oh, my hips. Yeah, your hips, boy. Woo, your hips hurt. It is painful. Yeah.
You went
it's not painful, man. I can't explain it.
With that, he said hips.
Hips. My hips.
Your hips.
Yeah, that's the first thing people notice when they start carrying a ruck, a 15-pound ruck. They're like, "Why do my hips hurt?" Like, I don't do science.
All right, Michael. The reason we brought you on here, we're gonna
draft.
Yeah, we're gonna play this. We're gonna play part of the clip from Unsportsmanlike Conduct the other day.
Okay.
If it's not in enough context, please give that. We're not trying to get you or anything here, but we want to keep the clip as brief as possible. So, Austin or Rico, go ahead and play that clip now. So
Michael, I was thinking about this morning, and I went and looked at Baylor and Temple and year 3 going into what would have been year 4 at at Baylor. Obviously, Rhule was in the pros and going into year 4 at Temple. And those drafts each had multiple guys. Third team at Temple had 3 players. 4 players got drafted. His third team with Baylor. Obviously, that has not happened this time around. How much of that is, in your opinion, just the sport and how it has changed, and how the way that he wanted to do this, him being Matt Rhule, he has just been unable to, like he was at those spots with all the transfers and such?
No, I mean, if you look at those players, he got lucky with some of those players. Yeah, you could say they got developed by the programs they were in, but, you know, a couple of those guys out of Temple were 0-star guys that he brought in because he had to have bodies. Baylor, kind of the same thing. I remember Tyquan Thornton was like a 0-star when he went there, and ends up being a second-round pick. Now he busted out in the NFL, didn't play very well for the Patriots, but I think he got lucky. Just like Nebraska got lucky with Prince Mukamara, who they brought in as a running back, and you know, had good sense to move in the corner and ended up being a first-round pick. I think he just got lucky. I looked at his numbers and I thought he had more draft picks.
Okay, so Michael, is that appropriate context for?
Oh yeah. I talk about the luck of the draft all the time because there's so many guys that should get drafted that don't because they're on a bad team or because they weren't a 5-star coming in. And then I talk about how, you know, lucky sometimes where you get a guy who you probably shouldn't have gotten. And I meant Tavon Young, not Tyquan Thornton. I blew the name. I'm old. I don't remember things like I used to, but that's very true. And so I do believe that a big part of it is not necessarily how even good a player is. There are guys that will go in the 6th and 7th round to get drafted because they were 5 stars coming out or 4 stars. And even though they didn't have good college careers, they still get drafted because they were that, or they were on a team that won and it just gets piled on with guys. So yeah, I admit that. I don't think it's as much about development as at times draft is about luck.
So let me ask this, because we're talking about, you know, as Josh said in that clip, 3 players and 4 players versus 1 player, right? So it's not like we're talking about 12 versus 2 or something like that. And so my question for this would be, given that context of luck and, you know, how teams draft based on winning teams versus teams that don't do as well, did you think that if Nebraska had, say, won 9 games this year instead of 7, were there other guys you thought were draft worthy in that context?
Well, I mentioned later in the clip about Sierra Wright. I believe if Sierra Wright comes out last year when he was playing outside opposed to playing in the slot, he gets drafted. So that's like a luck thing. They had to move him where they needed him. He works out there because that's what they need, but it hurts him draft-wise. And so I do believe, yes, if they win more games, I think there's a chance that Sierra gets, but it's more about changing positions in my luck thing that I'm talking about. The other example of it would be, so I believe there's a good chance if they win more games that Singleton gets drafted. There's a chance. I think they look at Singleton and his coverage ability, didn't play as much on special teams, and it's probably why he didn't get drafted. But if they win a few more games, I do think there's a chance that maybe they look at him a little bit deeper because they're on the highlights more and he gets drafted. Yeah.
So, sorry, real quick.
No.
Would it be fair then, within kind of that context, to say when you're talking about, because that's not, to be honest, when I heard that, I heard it live and I was like, what the hell is he talking about? To be honest, would it be fair in that context to say that you're not necessarily saying that he got lucky in the development of those guys, but just the fact that more got drafted as opposed to this year's team is more of where the luck comes in, not the actual development of the players? Is that accurate?
Just so you know, I was my goal in that was I was defending Matt Rhule. I was defending the lack of draft picks here, right, compared to when he was at Temple when they won 10 games and was at Baylor when they won 9 or 10 games. I was defending him, saying that it's not as much about necessarily development as it is times just the luck of who's picking and how you get picked. You know, that's what I was doing. I wasn't calling him out and criticizing his development at all, because obviously there are guys that got developed, but at the same time, there are guys that get developed and who are, here's a great example. Stanley Morgan should have been drafted. There is no reason that Stanley Morgan should have gone 7 rounds and not get drafted. A lot of the guys who got drafted at wide receiver position didn't even make teams. He held on for 5-6 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't get drafted because Nebraska was bad. That's why I believe he didn't get drafted, not because he wasn't good enough. Devine Ezekiel probably should have got drafted that same year and didn't. That's what I was talking about. You could develop those guys all you want, but sometimes it's just luck of the draft, luck of what's happening in that draft and how you get picked.
So let me ask you something. How long do you think, or do you think it depends on who it is, where a coach gets the benefit of the draft, or the player gets the benefit of the draft because of who they were coached by?
Oh, at positions, that's huge. So when Nebraska got Whittington from Pitt, the first thing I thought about is that they produced defensive linemen at Pitt. And because of their coaching, right?
And as you've seen, he's pretty good.
Yeah, and so they knew that guy was talented coming out of high school because they took him. And then I knew he was developed well because he played in that particular system. And I know those guys get drafted. So I think there's times where you get drafted because even if you didn't have the greatest career, they look and they say, I know that team produces players. Cal secondary is a great example. All the Cal guys got drafted over the last 2 years, right? Because you know that Wilcox can coach secondary and those guys are going to be good. So I think that is, and I don't know what Matt Rhule's position would be in terms of that. Like what guy would go earlier because he's being coached by Matt Rhule? I don't know what it is because he's not necessarily a former offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. I know he coached different positions, but I don't know what benefit of the doubt he would get for that. But I know definitely guys do. I mean, they always do. And here's another example. This year, because of the run on tight ends, because we had this record year of tight ends, you had guys get drafted who wouldn't have gotten drafted last year. But you need a tight end. All of a sudden, these guys are going off so fast. So then you start reaching. And you're reaching for a guy who goes in the 6th or 7th round who probably doesn't get drafted. So that's a big part of, I'm using the word luck, but I guess opportunity is a big part of it as well.
Yeah, because I
think maybe that was where the disconnect
and
was.
you're super self-aware. Yeah. So it's like, I hate the word luck.
I know.
Like,
I know you don't believe in luck. So
you're just talking about like the circumstances or the situation that somebody's in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like you. So example, you go back and you look at the drafts that Nebraska had when in the 80s and 90s, right? Yeah. When they were really good. And you go back and look, and part of that's 12 rounds up to 90 or whatever, or 89.
Yeah. Richard Bell, 12th round draft pick.
You had guys get drafted who got drafted because they played for Nebraska.
Russell Gary. Yeah, there's a lot.
Hey. You do not blaspheme on number 20.
Sorry, man.
Do not blaspheme on number 20. Russell Gary got drafted because he was a stud. Period. End of sentence. One of the hardest hitting New Orleans Saints in the history of sports. Russell Gary. Ooh, don't you do that. But guys got drafted because they were on Nebraska teams.
Awake, man. I had to see if you're awake.
No, I'm awake for Russell. I hear Russell Gary. I'm like, ooh, excited.
All right. So let me get to the kind of the draft specifically, because I'm always fascinated by kind of I think we were together. Were we together when Byard got the big deal? We were together when a safety got paid and he shouldn't have. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that was us. Because then he got moved. He got moved and he got the deal, right?
And I was like, oh, bleep. They're going to reset the market on safeties. And you're like, no, it'll recalibrate. You just got to give it time. And I believe that to some degree. We got into this fascinating discussion with Cynthia Freeland yesterday.
Oh, my God. My girl. Yeah. Health-wise. She's great.
Listen, let me tell you how secure she didn't feel good. She didn't want to do the segment. She changed the segment. She had something to do. She woke up, felt like trash. No makeup, no nothing. She's like, I like you guys. Here I am. Deal with it. I don't feel good. Let's talk ball. Like, she vaulted to my number one right away. I was like, yep, no surprises. I'm with you.
Yeah.
So I say all that to say, I said, hey, will we get to a point where we'll just pay playmakers, where you won't have the Deebo Samuel, you won't have the Le'Veon Bell, you won't have the guys that are so multifaceted that they want X dollar for position. You'll just be paid for a playmaker, right? I think Jeremiah Love is just a playmaker. I don't know if I consider him like, RB1 for 25 carries. I don't see him like that, right? So I don't see Caleb Downs is going to, at some point, if he's what they think they are, he's going to have to be in the Matthew, Derwin James. He's going to have to go into a different category. Kenyon Sadiq is going to have to go into a Jimmy. Shoot, man. Am I not in your wheelhouse with Jimmy Graham? Are we going to get to a point where we understand paying playmakers?
Yeah, I think they kind of have in a way. This draft is a perfect example of the positions that don't off-ball linebacker, which had some unique talent in it, tight end, which had some unique talent in it, and safety that had some unique talent. There's probably the three positions and guard probably that get devalued when they shouldn't be, right? And so I think they have started to at least look at those players. Now, will a running back get a second contract at the same level that a defensive end will? No, probably never. They probably never will.
But can McCaffrey
because of bodies, because of how much a body can take at running back opposed to how much your body can take as a defensive lineman.
But don't you think we should be thinking ahead with guys like Jahmyr Gibbs or Bijan Robinson with what guys like Christian McCaffrey are doing?
Bijan's interesting because, again, is he so valuable that you're going to put, 16% of 15% of your cap into him?
13.
No, I'm saying he signs a big contract and it's at that number.
But that's what it will be because the cap's going to. I thought
okay.
I get it.
I don't know if it's value. Do you win because you have a running back who's 13 to 15% of your cap, or do you win because you got pass rushers? It's more valuable. And this is a great example of the Eagles, right? The Eagles 3 drafts in a row took defensive linemen, and I remember that third people going, "Why are they taking another defensive lineman?" Because you can't have enough. Because those guys are going to win championships for you because they get to the quarterback. Does the running back do the same thing? I mean, outside of a guy like Saquon, who was on his second team, can you think of a lot of guys now in this era that lead to winning championships?
But because they didn't know how to pay him as like a non-traditional RB1. Like if they look at Saquon like a playmaker,
right?
It may have gone differently in New York.
Will he ever would have won without that? And he needs more talent around him as a running back. He needs more talent around him. He needs better offensive linemen, which is expensive.
But you can't look at like Jahmyr Gibbs the same way as you looked at prime Derrick Henry. I just don't think you can.
No, and Gibbs I think of a little bit differently than I think of Bijan because Atlanta's not winning with him, right? And and Jahmyr is leading to wins at Detroit. So in my mind, when I'm thinking of them giving them money, I'm not going to think about giving as much money to Bijan as I would think about giving money to Gibbs because they're winning.
All right, but humor me here though. So two guys that are displaced 17 to 19% of the time from non-traditional running back spots.
Yeah,
extremely productive, plus 75 catches. Jahmyr I think got to 240 carries. This year, they used him late after the Montgomery deal. So would you entertain outside of wins as part of the discussion? So could I say, hey, listen, I got 2 guys, similar portfolios.
Yeah.
Outside of wins, can I put them in the same category? Or are you thinking, well, how much do they contribute to winning? Because the Moneyball thing, I think we try to play in both worlds, and I think we just have to decide what it is we want.
I think last year, I think this is right, the Steelers paid Kenneth Gainwell $1 million.
Yeah, and he's on a different team now.
But he had 73 catches.
I know. Yeah.
And inside the 5-yard line, he was about as efficient as anybody. And he got a bunch of carries from the Steelers, right?
And he got paid.
Over Warren, right? The value you can get and how you should be able to. Now I know they didn't do it keeping old man Rodgers, but the value you should be able to put in the rest of your team should have helped them win more games, right? So I look at the running back position so many times and I'm thinking, do I really need that guy, the big money guy, Or do I just build it with pieces? I get my third down back guy. I get my guy who is good in small spaces who can run inside the red zone. I get my guy who's maybe my thumper, like a Tyler Algier, and I build it that way, opposed to building with the guy.
Is a great pickup.
So no, I agree. I think that makes me feel a little more secure if it's my team and I know they're trying to figure out a way to pay other people to make it efficient.
So I think the problem that I kind of have here, the thing that I'm trying to wrap my mind around is I agree with you. You can kind of build running back rooms in the aggregate a little bit more and have one guy that does this and one guy that does that and whatever. My problem comes in is what we're paying. Like, we're talking about how much value can you bring in terms of winning football games, right? And my question is like, okay, looking at wide receiver salaries, is Jacoby Myers bringing more to the table than Bijan Robinson in terms of winning football games? Like, that's the conversation I'm starting to have here.
Yeah, because that answer is no.
Yes. Is Cortland Sutton bringing more to the table?
I think wrong position. I think every time I make this comparison, I say pass rushers. Because you're looking at because that affects wins more. But that affects wins. I know what Miles. I'm talking about. If you look at teams that win the Super Bowl, right? Go back and look at teams that win the Super Bowl. What is one of the consistent things they do? They rush the passer with talented rushers. With talented rushers, though, right? Guys who are talented, you're spending money on.
Hang on, boss. I think we have to make the distinction, though. Like, you got to remember. Listen, I'm a J.J. Watt guy. So, not J.J. Watt, T.J. Watt guy.
T.J. Watt, yeah.
So,
and they lose games when he doesn't play.
They do. His wins above replacement is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. I think 70% of the games that he starts, they win. At least it was going into last year.
Yeah.
But I think we have to be careful about the blanket statements of an individual rusher versus, like, I don't look at Myles Garrett in Cleveland the same way I look at Seattle, because I look at Byron Murphy, I look at what they do on the edges with Lawrence, and it's like, hey, collectively they get after the passer. That's different than how I think Cleveland gets after the passer with just Myles Garrett. So I think the ability to put pressure on the quarterback is big, but not when it doesn't amount to wins as much when it's just a singular person.
If you liked Arvell Reese, and I know he wasn't your favorite guy, if you liked him, better chance of winning playoff games, a dominant Arvell Reese or a dominant Jeremiah Love? Based on what we know.
Reese.
Right. So that's why when I'm talking about those positions, whether it's paying them down the road or drafting them, that's where I'm going to lean. I'm going to lean towards those guys.
Max Crosby didn't get the Raiders any wins because nobody else had the kind of volume of getting after the quarterback that Max Crosby did. I think
Max Crosby did get them some wins, right? Like, for example, I don't know what his numbers were in the Saints game that they played, but I went to that game and he dominated. It's not a lot of wins, obviously, because they didn't have talent around him and they didn't have a quarterback and all that other stuff. But I think if it's equal, you've got a quarterback who is serviceable and you have an offensive line that can block for your running back. I'm going to take a guy who is a pass rusher over a guy. I'm going to pay a guy who's a pass rusher over a guy who's a running back.
Let's say I don't love the pass rusher to running back comparison. So let's say I want to give you. Could I convince you that I'm not going to say better because I will never get off of here and you'll fight me over it. Could I say a more like comparison would be safety and running backs?
Well, that is so system based, right? That's so system, but that's why you draft so many of them. But yeah, that's so system based, right? What you're asking that safety to do compared to what you're asking the running back to do, I don't think is all that similar. I get what you're saying numbers wise. Go back to what Ravi was saying about wide receivers, right? He was comparing wide receivers, and I get that. Let's go back to what wide receivers and say that's your comparison. When you're talking about that's so dependent on your quarterback, right? That is so dependent on, am I a guy who can put it within the range of the wide receiver? Justin Jefferson had a year last year because of what happened. He didn't have a quarterback getting the ball. But in the running back position, the majority of the time, at least that quarterback can give the ball to him, right? At least he can get the ball in.
Dependent on the offensive line.
Yes, we talked about that earlier.
Negative yards before contact last year, right? So the reason
Emmett got hit in the backfield, the whole time last year.
The reason that I went wide receivers over defensive ends
because of the money.
Well, no, because of it's offensive playmakers. I think it's more linear when you're talking about offensive playmakers. Wide receivers are dependent on other people. Running backs are dependent on other people. And let's not pretend like, yes, the quarterback can physically hand the ball off to him. But if you've got, Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback versus like Gardner Minshew as your quarterback, like the looks you're going to see are quite a bit different as a running back. So like, I think there is some overlap there in terms of the quality of your quarterback makes your life easier or harder. It might not be as direct at wide receiver or as it is with wide receiver, but I think playmakers on offense is the easiest comparison to make. If I'm looking for someone that can make me plays on offense, I'm looking at basically running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, right?
How many games does Jamar Chase win me when I look at what Buffalo did?
Buffalo? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Buffalo, where like James Cook is going to be in the top 2 or 3 of your leading receivers.
Okay, so you're comparing what Buffalo does to Cincinnati does?
Yes.
I think James Cook definitely won them more games.
It's not
because Buffalo leaned on him, especially in the red zone. They leaned on him mightily.
My point more is prolific as Higgins and Chase are.
Yeah, their defense sucked. Yeah,
and we pay them a ton of money.
Where does it get you?
Like defense, and they couldn't put together a defense.
What are we really talking about when we look at the prowess of Josh Allen and what he can do with quote unquote out weapons?
Yeah. So you're looking at what he had at wide receiver compared to what Cincinnati had at wide receiver, and how he had to use tight end more and his running back.
No, you guys, I understand Cincinnati couldn't stop a nosebleed. My point in talking to Michael is do we need to look at reinvesting in playmakers and offensive guys and start to reallocate on how to actually win games?
Yeah,
because we're talking about how you affect winning.
My argument would actually be less about running backs need to be paid more, which I do think they need to, especially after the first couple guys. My argument would probably be that wide receivers need to get paid less. Like
that's kind of my thing, even though we throw the ball a ton.
Paying Jamar Chase $40 million, like the Bengals are paying their receivers basically $70 million between their top 2 guys.
Right.
And that gets you almost nothing.
It gets you to keep Joe Burrow. Because there's a chance that Joe Burrow, if you don't pay his boys, because of contracts and agents, maybe he leaves. That's the one thing you do get. You get to keep him.
But to your point, that's I can give that because
if they had invested that money in an offensive line, don't you think your chances of keeping Joe Burrow?
But hang on,
I don't know because that's his boys, right? And he came out and said, "I want these guys on my team."
I just want to tell you,
it put them in a bad spot.
Why I think football is the ultimate team game. Because look at Mahomes, right? Mahomes hasn't had a 1,000-yard rusher since his first year, and he wasn't even a full-time starter. That was Kareem Hunt, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's been through a plethora of number ones. His only consistent has been Kelsey. We talked about not Burrow. We talked about Josh Allen and his receiving core. Your boy Jalen Hurts won a championship, and we weren't sure who the number 1 was or if he was happy. Why, if we have all these case studies, do we not spend? And listen, the Steelers aren't the prime example because they're old. But why do we give those guys so much money if we've seen teams win the other way?
Yeah. I think we're going to see, with so much 12 and 13 personnel, you're going to see that change. I think we're going to start seeing tight ends making a lot more money than we were in the past because those guys are going to be putting up production because they're on the field more. And the value of running the ball out of that position.
And like, not everybody can do what the Rams.
But more teams are trying. That's why you just had 22 tight ends go, because they're looking and saying, hey, maybe we can win that way as well. Maybe we can win. Like, you look at the Niners, not a lot of teams have fullbacks, but they win using the fullback. If you start mimicking what winning teams do, we're going to see a lot more teams deciding they're going to put extra tight ends on the field. Not just on first and second down, but also because those guys have mismatches a lot of times against the defense they're going against. So maybe we'll start seeing tight ends make more money, which I'm fine. When I played fantasy football, tight ends were my draftable thing. If I could play more than one tight end, I did, because just the efficiency of the touchdowns they catch compared to how many passes they catch and what they can do on third down and safety blankets. So maybe they'll start getting more money.
If I asked you to, you're going to be my defense attorney. I'm trying to get off. Who would you defend first? The Rams taking Simpson or the Titans taking Tate?
Oh, the Titans in a heartbeat. I think the best wide receiver in the draft. And the other team took a guy who I don't believe can be a starter.
You don't care that you don't care.
No, I thought he would go between 4 and 7. I knew he wouldn't make the Saints because I wanted him on the Saints. But I thought he'd go between 4 and 7. And no, I don't have a problem with him going at 4. I mean, if it's up to me, I take Arvell Reese at 4. If it's me drafting, right? Or maybe I even take Sonny Styles at 4. But
even though the Titans did address defense in the they got after it in free agency.
Even so, Cam Ward's got to get better, right? So year 2, he's got to. So you got to protect him. You got to give him weapons. So I get that, but I don't understand at all what the Rams did. You can't tell me that a player at that spot where you took a quarterback who's probably not going to play for you and may never play for you, isn't as valuable to win a Super Bowl this year as one of the players that were on the board at the time. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. You want to win a title this year.
That's more about Simpson than it is about Tate, though.
No, it's not. If they would have taken any player who's not going to play this year for them, I would be saying the same thing. I'd like Tate a lot, so I would defend Tate at 4 all the time.
But the Rams didn't need to draft a player that was going to play tomorrow, though.
But they could. You never know. Injuries happen.
You're right.
Yeah, injuries happen. Look, you can't. If there's a guy, right? If I can take another pass rusher for them, and as good as their defensive line is, give me another pass rusher, right? Maybe that guy makes the difference in the fourth quarter. A third, you don't even know what's going to happen with their number 1 wide receiver. Is he really going to still be there? What is going on with him? What is going on with Puka?
Well,
we don't know.
He's out of rehab.
That's not a great thing, dude. I'm just saying. It's not a great thing. Put the resume. I just got a rehab. Hire me.
It worked for Amy Winehouse, but it may work for
it may work for him. I'm just saying.
Maybe it'll work.
Another wide receiver wouldn't have been a bad thing.
Wow. Hey, where are you? Dude, you are wild.
This doesn't make it. And again, I'm not a Ty Simpson guy, and I don't believe in a quarterback that's had 15 starts. I don't. But here's the funny thing about it is this guy is going to play 1 season out of 6.
Yeah, he hasn't played very much football.
Probably, right? If
Stafford's healthy.
So he'll play 1 season out of 6. Can you get better, Damon? Can you get better?
What?
Can you get better not playing in football games as a football player? Can you get better not playing in football games? He didn't play 3 years at Alabama. He's probably going to sit in there 2. So out of 6 years, he'll play 1 year.
Okay, this is fast.
This is hard to get better at football when you don't play football. That's all.
I like it because I'm just listen. I'm looking. I've been joking the last couple of days about listening to people, not just for information but for transformation. So I'm trying to transform my thought process. I'm gonna give you 3 guys, okay? And I want to try to make the case to you, or somebody's going to try to make the case for you that they should have this tremendous chip on their shoulder based on where they were drafted. Okay. And which guy are you taking that could make the best case?
Mm-hmm.
Not who you think is going to be the best player, the best case. You ready? Reuben Bain.
No, that's it right there. He's going to kill the Saints twice a year. He's going to kill the Saints twice a year. He's going to kill the Saints twice a year. Twice a year, he's going to kill the Saints.
But hang on. Just hang on. It's you guys.
So mad about that.
Me too, because Bain's a stud. All right.
You're not playing him twice a year.
But listen. Just hang on. The best case. So I'm going to give you Bain.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you Caden McDonald. I'm going to give you McCoy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you Keontae Scott. Those are 4 guys.
Yeah.
That I think are incredible.
Yeah. McCoy may never play again, though.
See, I don't believe that.
He's going to have surgery, and it's a crapshoot. We have a degenerative knee, if that's actually what it is. It's a crapshoot, man.
Yeah.
If that's what it is. And they must know something. I mean, 3rd round, he's got a 1st-round pick, goes to 3rd round. I mean, that's not good. They must know something about his medicals. But out of that, I would say, I told Tim Verghese that I thought McDonald would fall to the 2nd round. because I thought that Peter Woods and the other kid.
I like Peter Woods.
I thought both of those guys, despite not having great performances in college overall, would go ahead and because I think McDonald, to some people, think is tapped out. His growth is that's where he is. So maybe he'll have a chip in his shoulder. I love Keontae Scott. That was a guy that I had on the Saints. I wanted him to go to the Saints. I think he's gonna be very good. But out of all those guys, I still believe that Bain,
because he gets to be with Bowles in that 4-down.
I think he's sitting there and he's saying to himself, all those teams that pass me, every time I get a shot, I'm going to kill them. I am going to wear them out.
Pissy by nature.
Did you watch the press conference? Did you watch the Tampa press conference? They brought it up. They said, "Oh, by the way, you get to play the Saints twice. They passed you up at 8."
Did you listen to him talk to Bowles? Bowles is trying to encourage him. Like he's like, "Hey man, I hate Bowles' voice, but he's like, we got our guy, and and Bain was like, yeah, man, whatever. Like let's
go. Yeah. That kid, and I love the fact that he can play. They're going to move him inside occasionally, and Bowles' fronts are incredible, right? So if maybe they'll occasionally throw him out there way at a 9, like on a 3rd down when they have their pass rushers inside, or maybe he'll drop inside on 1st and 2nd down and he'd be coming out of the middle. I think they're gonna do so many things with that guy, and at no point will we be saying, "Well, if his arms were only longer, he'd be making more plays."
Hey, you didn't bat an eye at Tyson because you wanted a receiver, right?
Yeah, because I have the hope that health wise it'll hold up. Yeah. But you just match him up with a guy who's had 4 concussions minimum in Olave, and you bring him into a place that's medical staff has been poor. They've been poor for years of the Saints, and so you bring in a guy in with all those injuries. Hey, I hate hamstrings. Soft tissue stuff is the worst.
I hate mine too.
I wouldn't have taken him personally, but I like the concept of him and what he can do in that system and what they did. I love their draft, by the way. Other than that pick, I really love their draft. I think they did a great job from the beginning to the end. But
all right, last one real quick. I talk to TV or Tim Verghese all the time about body types and D linemen and what Nebraska's recruiting. And I like what Corey Brown is after, and I think they're trying to do. Are you seeing this? Well, I know you've seen it because we talked about it, where you get these bigger gap plugger guys. I told you for years Nebraska was too big along the O-line and D-line. They weren't athletic enough. Do you like kind of this shift where it's not that pluggers don't have a home, but that defenses have moved more to – remember we thought Jordan Davis was going to be too big in Philly? It's like
athletic, boy. Damn.
Like, what? That dude's a monster.
He's athletic.
He's athletic.
He's athletic.
That it's getting about like knockback and explosiveness and not so much about size, or are you still kind of in the size category?
And I was with you arguing last year that, Indiana and Iowa, 2 good teams that played against the run, weren't overly big. My offensive line issue has always been tallness, height. Okay. I think there's a point where you're too tall. I know Jonathan Ogden had an amazing career, but there's too many guys I've seen over the years that just don't get the bend and the ability to, Solder was a good example at New England.
Trent Williams patterned his game after Ogden because of how far he was from the ground.
You know what's good about him? Trent Williams' feet are incredible.
Yeah.
You give me a guy that's feet are that good, I'm going to take it. But in terms of defensive linemen, it is crazy that we had essentially two defensive tackles go in the first round of a draft, which shows you the value of those guys. And so I agree with you on that. For Nebraska, they've got to get after the passer a different way than they've been doing because it hasn't worked. So give me the opportunity to have quicker athletic guys to be able to do it. I'm fine with that. I think what they have now, I think if they could have gotten a bigger body and they tried to get the kid out of Iowa Western, if they could have gotten him, they would have gotten him, right? They would have loved to have him. Dylan Berryman is a guy who I think they say to themselves, that's our plugger, and he eventually will be in there. So you want the guy for first and second down, but I don't think you have to have him because Indiana didn't have him, and neither did Iowa, and both those teams were really good run defenses and got to the passer too.
I'm glad to know. So my favorite thing about this whole 38 minutes, you like Keontae Scott. I think
love him.
He's going to be a stud.
Two of my favorites guys in the secondary were Chris Johnson and Keontae Scott. Two of my favorite guys in the secondary. I wanted either one of them to be a Saint.
Chris Johnson thinks Orich is a genius.
Does he? Well, he made him into what ended up being a first-round pick.
Yeah, right? Love the way he'd be a fascinating interview.
We underestimate how valuable the pass rush can be if you're doing so much of that stuff right at the snap in the secondary.
Yeah,
You know,
and they put him in the run fit. So
your quarterback looks up and he's like, "Oh my God, I thought it was too high when I got the snap. All of a sudden now it's one high, and I got this robber coming out of nowhere, and all of a sudden you're panicking and you're getting sacked." And so that's what I thought Orich's strength was at San Diego State, was doing that. Man, he confused quarterbacks off the snap. They thought they knew what it was pre-snap, and they looked up and they're like, "Damn, I'm in a bad spot."
That's Michael Severe. He is the host of the Let It Fly show, as well as the executive director of the Jet Award Foundation. Michael, appreciate you as always. We will talk to you soon.
Hey, check on Uncle Johnny.
I talk to him every day, man.
Okay.
I talk to him or tweet or text him every single day. It's not, don't worry about it. I got it.
I called him this. Yeah, just make sure he's. Sometimes I always think he feels good. Make sure he's.
He does too much.
Yeah, just check.
He does too much. He's got a calendar filled with stuff. Johnny is constantly busy, always busy, working for the foundation, going to visit prisons. The dude is always busy.
Oh, my man.
We got it.
We'll talk soon.
All right, see you guys. Bye.
That's Michael Severe, executive director of the Jet Award Foundation. Also hosts Big Red Wrap Up as well, if you're looking for more places to find Michael. We're going to take a quick break here before we wrap up the show. Just want to talk about Jordan Davis for a second here. You know why Diego Pavia didn't get drafted? Because Jordan Davis is faster than he is.
Are we going to be on this Pavia thing?
I'm just saying.
Because when he makes the Ravens team, I don't want to hear your mouth.
That's fine if he makes them, but there's a reason he didn't get drafted.
They did sign him before the tryout, which I thought was a big deal.
It's because the D linemen in this league are faster than he is.
All right. Amazing, Daniel. You're out.
Get out. We'll be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's time to shift into spring at Edwards Kia. Lease the 2026 Kia Seltos LX as low as $198 a month. Shift into spring for less. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Drive away with more this April. Or lease the 2026 Kia Sportage LX as low as $228 a month. Don't wait. Shift into a fresh deal this spring at Edwards Kia. It pays to make the drive to Edwards Kia.
Really, just because it's still the spring, but I know in the fall it will. But it is, like, I know Harper and I, when we played our last beach game, we did a big group hug because it's like we're going through a lot of the last experiences, so this is one of them, but we're grateful for the experience, so we just want to enjoy it.
Yeah. How are you approaching your senior year?
Same way, we just want to make sure it's our best year possible, whether that's on the court, off the court, anything that we can do just to take advantage of our last year here, because it is a special place and we're going to miss it no matter where we end up. So like Andy said, just really taking advantage of all the lasts, because it's going to be so fun later on to look back at it and look at all the memories that we had. So just really making sure that we're where our feet are and really soaking it up.
to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. Reminding you to give our friends over at Next Gen Mail Medical a call, 402-614-9700. They can get you fit and ready to go no matter how you're feeling. They can get you feeling your best. What's Rico? You all right? You doing okay in there?
Dude, Rico's a funny dude.
He's just coming. He's walking in here while we're doing stuff. I don't know what's going on, man.
I don't want to be on camera, so you don't have to fix it.
I thought he was coming in to give a testimonial about Next Gen.
Oh. Oh, he's ending like you guys started. Rico walked out
and he slammed the door on you.
It's 402-614-9700. Whatever you need, they've got you covered, and they will listen to you. Their clinician is incredible. She'll get you feeling like you need to.
She is pretty smart.
Really smart, and very thoughtful, listens to you, understands what you're trying to accomplish, and can actually help you get some results. So I really appreciate that about them over there at Next Gen. And Nick is cool as cucumber too. So we like Nick.
Yeah, I like Nick.
He's a good guy. We like him.
I feel like I bugged Nick a little much, but I mean, hey, it's fine.
What you wanted to talk a little bit about NIL?
Well, I think so. Kobe,
the chat kind of got on this a little bit.
Yeah, about what NIL is doing for college athletics, and
college basketball in particular.
And I'll be curious to see how it impacts high school recruiting in football, because I think if you get the 5 for 5, you will start to see the revamping and the emphasis of high school recruiting, because you have a shelf life.
Sure.
And you can easily see, hey, this guy's played this amount of years. This is all we're going to get him for, or this is what we're going to get him for. So you can start to extrapolate right away.
I think it's maybe I'm wrong here.
Now this guy's talking about one of my best friends.
I think it's less dramatic in football because there was already the 3-year you had to be in college rule.
Now I think you may have to readjust that maybe.
In terms,
it has to be collectively bargained. It's an NFL thing, not a college thing.
Yeah.
But if you truly go 5 for 5, and I think it's got a ton of holes in it, you may have to take a look at the needing to be in college 3 years.
You think less?
I would say maybe 2, because I mean, listen, I'm not so much 5 for 5 as get out of college before you turn 26.
My number was 25, but I don't have a huge problem. I mean,
well, I'm giving, let's say I give
limit.
you 18, 19 years old to go do whatever.
Sure. So you start at 20.
Yeah. I'd want to play baseball, right? So I may be gone for 2 years.
Yeah. Maybe you're going on a Mormon mission. Maybe you're in the service.
Whatever. And so I think if you want to do that, you have to decide that, okay, my clock is starting. Plus, I mean, depending, how you were raised, when you start school matters.
Yeah.
Right. Typically, the poorer you are, the earlier you start school, because you can't afford childcare. So you have a lot of 4 and 5-year-olds that are in school because
I started a year early.
You have somebody to watch your kids. You know what I mean? So all that stuff's going to matter, and I'm not going to overthink it, but I'm just saying, as long as you're out, I don't mind if Brandon Whedon wants to go play baseball.
I don't either.
I don't. The same as I don't mind if you want to go on a trip. Just know that if you want to go serve in the military or be what's his name? He's playing in the CFL. He's actually in a NASCAR pit crew. If you want to be Damian Jackson, then the clock is ticking. You can't do it all.
Yeah, you don't get to have everything. I was thinking Villanueva when you were talking military. That's the Pittsburgh guy, right?
Yeah.
So that's my thing is
offensive lineman.
Yeah. I know that we want to be like, well, what about an exemption for this? And what about an exemption for this? The fact of the matter is sometimes you have to make choices. You don't get to do everything.
And we have too many exemptions.
Yeah. I understand religious and military service maybe, but that's and if you want to put, I'm okay if you don't even put a number of years on it. You're just it's either it's 5 years, but you have to be done by 25 or whatever.
This is what I hope, and I have to listen. I have to look in more into like the Sherman Act and stuff like that. But like, let's say I'm playing another sport, or I get drafted. I don't think that should count against your opportunity to generate income, because if you do something professionally, you're having the opportunity to make money.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see them draw that line of distinction,
because you just chose to try and make money doing something else.
Yeah.
That's not their problem.
Yeah. That can't be.
You don't get everything.
Yeah. That can't be the NCAA's fault.
Like if you had decided, hey, I want to go try and play professional baseball instead of go play at Nebraska, you're making a choice to try and go make money. It's the same thing as like no person would ever get anywhere with a court case if they say, well, I took a job here and it turns out I would have made more money here. I'm going to sue the company that I'm at now because I didn't get the money that I thought I was going to get.
Yeah. And for every Riley Leonard and Will Howard, who openly said, I'm making less money now as an NFL quarterback than I did in college, I think people are that's not going to resonate well with guys that are going to bellyache about the 5 for 5.
Yeah. Well, and we were talking
right. It's like Riley Leonard has openly said, listen, I was getting more money at Notre Dame than I'm making.
Absolutely. Well, and somebody in the chat,
because I think Riley Leonard is 4 for 4.6,
probably
4 for 4.6. And Will Howard's got to be right there
for their draft slots. That sounds right. And they were making multiple millions at their establishments there last year.
Oh, allegedly.
I think it's pretty
whatever
safe.
It was. I
But yes,
don't know. I don't believe Indiana. So
no,
I love how we landed at the low end when we want to discount what other schools are trying to do. Oh,
they only spent $4 on their roster.
Yeah, when he told you it was somewhere, he's like, hey, the truth of the matter, it was somewhere closer to this than it was this.
Yeah.
And so we just took the low number.
And it's like, he could have been talking about the other number too, right? Like that's
what we do.
Equal.
But anyway.
But I we were talking about some of the
Rico, pull that graphic up too, please.
We were talking about some of the guys, whether it's some Nebraska guys got brought up. So whether it's Price Sanford or Emmett Johnson in football, talking about guys in a couple different sports. And some people in the chat said, well, I think there are some factors here that we're not considering. And they said, well, if you can make a bag in college, why would you take a chance on going pro? I think there's a couple things, because Emmett Johnson could have come back. He had another year. He could have came back because he only played 4 games his true freshman year, was redshirted, could have come back. He chose to go pro anyway, knowing that he wasn't a first-round draft pick and knowing he was going to fall somewhere in the range that he did. Maybe he was a little lower than he thought. But part of this, there's a couple things that we forget about this. Number one, and this sort of goes back to my conversation about making decisions about money earlier, is sometimes it's just your dream to play in the NFL or the NBA. And that overrides.
Oh, that supersedes
the money.
Yeah.
Like you just are like, hey, I believe in myself. This is the thing I've wanted my whole life. I want to play in the NBA. Here's my shot. I'm going to take it. Or I want to play in the NFL. Here's my shot.
So you know who you're talking about?
I'm going to take it.
You know who you're talking about? Emmett.
Yeah, exactly. Emmett probably would have made more money coming back to Nebraska.
It'd have been close.
He would have made good money coming back to Nebraska.
It'd have been close. They're not running back. Like, it would have been close.
Highly productive. Would have made good money coming back here. Instead, rolled the dice with the draft, right? But that's a guy who it's like his dream was to play in the NFL,
and
it was time to try and take that shot.
And and the thing that we're discounting, because we like to say a lot of things about Emmett, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he only played because of Holgerson and how he can't. Like, the fact of the matter is, when you talk to the guy, listen, he's the youngest of. He had 9 siblings, 8.
Yeah, I'm not positive on the exact number.
Graduate, first time, dream was to play in the league. And I think he got while the getting was good.
Yeah, he took advantage of his opportunity.
Right? Like, wasn't sure he could replicate. I mean, he's an All-American.
Yeah, first team All-American, Big Ten running back of the year. Like, he had an opportunity and he took it.
And it's a short shelf life. So I think for him, it was like, listen, man, I want to be in the league.
Same thing. And if Price Sanford had made the same decision as probably a second-round draft pick, I would guess this year would have been a second-round draft pick. I don't have a problem with that either. If it happened with a bunch of Creighton guys.
Although, to Price's defense, we have seen older guys be in the discussion.
Absolutely.
Now. It's age is not so much a thing in the NBA as it is apparently in the NFL.
Especially if you're in the back end of the first round with good teams that need guys that can play right now.
Yeah, because anything in the second round is a two-way anyway.
Yes. But if you're in, like when Boston drafted Baylor Sharman, right? They didn't care about his age because they needed somebody that could play right now. They're like, hey, you're closer to being, we don't care about your upside. We have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. We don't need upside. We need a guy that can be a rotation piece tomorrow.
Yeah, Kobe, to your point, though, when you get a chance to maximize your dreams, you probably get while the getting's good. You have minimum 12 games to have to stay healthy.
And
like that's a lot of wear and tear. That's a pretty short shelf life, Kobe.
My point isn't one decision is right or the other. My point is some guys will value things more highly than others.
Yeah. Grab that stat again, Rico. So in 2021,
this is a crazy number. This is an insane number.
Well, I just found this just because of what Kobe and those guys were saying about how the college product is getting better because guys aren't leaving. They're sticking around making money. He and Game Dog were talking about guys sticking around. I mean, this is real data.
Yes.
I didn't pull this out of nowhere. There's only 71 early entrants in the 2026 draft. In 2021, they had 363 guys coming out. And we talked about this.
Hey,
we're like, where are these guys going?
Because famously,
the G League was just we had these conversations.
G League wasn't what it is today in terms of being built up and guys being a viable path for guys. And famously, only 60 guys get picked.
Yeah.
Right. So you're talking about 300 dudes that knew they weren't going to get drafted.
3 years ago. I don't even go back to 2021 and 2023. 323 guys came out early. It's 71 now.
Yeah, we're talking about a fifth of that number, 20% of that number. And we've seen it be a huge benefit to the college game. The college game is way better now than it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Because you've got older guys playing college basketball instead of a bunch of 18, 19, and sometimes 20-year-olds. You've got 20, 21, 22-year-olds playing college basketball, and it's a much better product. The tournament this year was fantastic. There were great teams playing basketball this year, and it was incredible to watch. And so this has been one of the, we always talk about sometimes the drawbacks of NIL and what's it doing to college sports. And the college basketball was in a rough spot like 10 years ago, not even 5 years ago, right? Where we're like all these one and dones and all this other stuff. It was not a great product. And all of a sudden, in the course of a couple years, we've seen that totally transform because everybody that's borderline that decides they don't value taking a shot at the NBA over continuing to play high-level basketball and making money while they do it is staying, and we're the beneficiaries of that.
You want the quiet part out loud?
Yeah.
Indiana doesn't win a championship without guys staying in school.
Absolutely.
They just don't.
They don't.
So
neither does Michigan.
It helps 100%
in basketball.
It helps college football too.
It does.
Because you get a chance to be older playing against younger guys because there's not the anxiety and the crapshoot of needing to try to enter the draft. You get to stick around
because you can make generational money
and still be
family changing money. You don't have to worry about, hey, my mom's working 2 jobs still. I got to get her out of this situation.
Yeah, young teams ain't winning titles.
I mean, what's the stat I gave you about leading scorers?
The young team. It's not happening in football either.
No.
And it's certainly not happening in baseball.
That's the show for today. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We'll be back tomorrow on Hurrdat Sports Live.
See you. Have a good day. Love you.